catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I hope everyone's had a great day. It's been a weird day. I'm not gonna lie, we had to say goodbye to someone today. I'm a little upset. No, I'm not gonna lie. It saddens me a little bit. Look, the guy gets a lot of heat. You either love him or you hate him. People make fun of the way he talks. You know, he has an accent a little bit. You know, his kids get brought up a lot. I get it. You know, he's very, a lot of people don't like him, and I've criticized him a lot throughout his career, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to miss Phillip Rivers. What?
Oh, nothing.
Who'd you think I
I knew you were going there. I knew it. I should have known.
I mean, it's true. He has that country twang accent. Mm-hmm. They always bring up the, thousands of kids that he has. I mean, that's what I was talking about the whole time from the very beginning. And I've been critical of him, but, I hate to see guys go, so there you go.
What did you think of his career?
Even Justin right away said, called it. So there you go.
Overall, what did you think of Phillip Rivers' career?
I'm surprised we don't see more careers like that they very well above good. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was great. Can't be great when you don't have anything of like you don't have any MVPs, no Super Bowl appearances or even championships. I don't know. It's like that if you can't have. I mean, I guess that's. I don't know, Kev. I know that sounds really weird. I think he's always going to be polarizing in that conversation of you have Eli Manning, who I will take Phillip Rivers' talent over any day, but Eli Manning's resume is always going to be 1,000,000% better just because, hey, he never was as skilled as Phillip Rivers, but he has 2 Super Bowls. Like even if it was just one. I think when I look at Phillip Rivers, I am a little surprised at just how much talk there has been about him today. And by the way, why of all days would you announce your retirement? I mean, you want this, you want the attention on you, but I am surprised that you would pick January 20th, inauguration day, to announce your retirement. But that's a conversation for later. But in all seriousness, Kev, the player comp for Baker that I've always made before, when Baker is reckless and throws a lot of interceptions, it is Phillip Rivers. They're both capable of throwing for a lot of yards. They could throw for a lot of touchdowns, but every time they drop back, you hold your breath because you don't know what's coming. Now, Baker kind of reversed that a little this year, and we'll see if he's able to keep it going next season. But I've always made that player comp as far as, that's where he's capable. But Phillip Rivers is a strange one to me. When I think about it, there's how many teams would have loved to have Phillip Rivers as their quarterback that, the Jets for decades now, or, especially over the last 10 years, have been dying to find a quarterback like that. The Dolphins could have definitely used a quarterback like that. But the Chargers were a good football team. Mm-hmm. And, good offensive lines, good weapons offensively, good run games. And had good defenses. At the end of the day, it just came down to a guy that was always a part of teams that can never get it done come playoff time. He can get you there. You're going to win a lot of regular season games. He is what Peyton Manning was before Peyton Manning finally started winning playoff games and taking off. Because there was a time for Phillip Rivers where we kept saying, well, eventually it's going to click. Eventually he's going to get off, that struggle bus. Eventually he's going to get that big playoff streak going, and it never happened. It's strange watching his 17-year career come to an end.
It's crazy because I remember his, I want to say, senior year. They came to Ohio State and they almost beat the Buckeyes. Mm-hmm. And Will Allen, friend in the program, had a stop on 4th down to keep them out the end zone from them winning the game. And to see somebody's career, basically watch them in college and then their whole pro career, is crazy. I'm looking back at that 2004 draft class, and I'm looking here, and now that he's officially retired, out of at least the first round guys, I believe the only guys still in the league are Big Ben and Larry Fitzgerald. Those are the only guys, at least from the first round, still playing in the NFL. And I say still, I mean, it's a long time to play in the NFL. I don't think that he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I'm just like you. I think he was better than Peyton Manning. But not Peyton Manning.
I was going to say Hoofa.
Eli Manning, I think he was a better quarterback than Eli Manning, but Eli Manning had those 2 runs to the Super Bowl, and he won 2 Super Bowls. So that's why Eli Manning is going to get into the Hall of Fame
as wild cards too. It's not like the Giants. It's not like the Giants were ever dominant with Eli. Right? They were never dominant with Eli Manning. Always had good defenses, just good enough offensive weapons to make things interesting. But it's not like there are a lot of good Chargers teams that were always better than the Giants. And the years that they won the Super Bowl, the Chargers were better than those Giants teams. So it's weird how luck does play a lot of role, not the quarterback. Luck does play a lot of role in how these quarterbacks' careers unfold. Because Dan Marino, we've talked about, there's a list that came out today, the best, top 10 quarterbacks to never win a Super Bowl. Dan Marino is a guy that you look at and just say, I don't get it. I talked about it with Keith Byers today, who played with Dan Marino. You look at the talent that Marino had, you just scratch your head and say, how at any point did he never come away with the ring? Greatness does not guarantee, you being great does not guarantee you a ring. And I'm not putting Phillip Rivers in that category, but Phillip Rivers was extremely talented and had good enough offenses, had a great arm, and was talented enough to get to a Super Bowl or at least win, or to at least get to one. It was definitely good enough to win one.
Think about the teams that he had with the Chargers. Obviously him and LaDainian Thomas and Antonio Gates.
Yep.
There was no question that they had enough talent on that team. I'm looking back at some of their playoff losses, and a lot of them are to the eventual Super Bowl champions. They lost one year to the Steelers, who ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. They end up losing to the Pats. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl. They lost to the Pats the year that Eli beat them, and they lost to the Raiders. Like it's not bad. And people that listen to the show over, the course of time that I've joined you kind of hear me bash on them. I'm not bashing on them. I just think hey man, towards the end of your career, you don't have that zip. And there's no question that he didn't have the zip on the ball. People hear me talk about Drew Brees and him not being able to push the ball downfield. And people are like, oh man, he's so accurate. Well, they're throwing drag routes. They're not taking shots downfield. And it's a crazy situation when you have to put in your backup quarterback to throw the ball more than 30 yards down the field. That's wrong. And guess who's on this list now officially? Big Ben, my quarterback. He's on this list to say, hey man, it's looks like it's about that time to hang it up, because the Tom Brady's, the 43-year-old quarterback still throwing dimes and throwing it downfield, that is an anomaly. You playing in the NFL 17 years, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, your arm fell off. And it's evident that Big Ben's arm is falling off as we speak. He had to have surgery on it. They say 2 years removed from it, he's going to be better than ever. You have to show me, because that last performance that you put out there, you weren't able to push the ball downfield all season. But this is more about Phillip Rivers and his career. I think he had a solid career. But you know what? Forget solid. He had a real good career. There's no question about it. And he made a lot of money, had a lot of kids. Salute him for that. And I just don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, even though I think he's better than a quarterback that will go into the Hall of Fame, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think he's going to go into the Hall of Fame, but it's not like I'm ever going to look at him and say, oh, man, he was one of the all-time greats. But he's going to go in the Hall of Fame.
That's the crazy part, because the games that I remember most of his career were when he was at NC State. Like, I remember he had a crazy comeback on Boston College. They were down 28 points. He led them to a crazy comeback and everything like that. The memories I have of Phillip Rivers are his college days. Like, I'm sure I could think of something cool that he did with the Chargers. But like you said, they really never had those big time moments.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. And with that, we transition into this part of the conversation. We head into the AFC and the NFC title game coming up this weekend. And you look at the 4 quarterbacks that are at play right now, Kev. There are, 3 of the 4 quarterbacks have already won a Super Bowl. Of those 3 quarterbacks, you combine all their Super Bowls, and it's 8. Of the 4 quarterbacks, you combine all the Super Bowls for all 4 quarterbacks that are going to be playing this weekend. 8 combined Super Bowls. 6 of those belong to one. One quarterback does not have a Super Bowl, and that's Josh Allen. Tom Brady has 6, and then, of course, Aaron Rodgers with 1, as well as Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes is very interesting to me because he could potentially pick up his 2nd Super Bowl ring and trophy, and he's only a couple years into his career, and the sky's the limit because he's not even the best of what he's expected to be, as he's still a third-year player. You're only going to continue to get better. The game is only going to continue to come more natural to you, and it's going to become a little bit more difficult because the thing is we said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, man, he probably at least has 2 to 3 more Super Bowls left in him. Hadn't even been back to one since he last won one, and that was against your Steelers. So we do this all the time. I mean, Drew Brees. We sit there and say things like, "Oh, Dan Marino, how did he never come away with one?" I look at Drew Brees, who has one. How did he only win one? Peyton Manning won 1.5. Okay, let's just be clear, he won 1.5. But again, let him do. They won a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah.
So you ask, well, how did Peyton Manning not win more? There's so many quarterbacks I look at them, and how do they not win more? And we're assuming that the Chiefs are well on their way to potentially winning their second, or at least Patrick Mahomes winning his second. He can probably never win another one again.
Yeah.
That's what history has told us. And the one thing that's interesting about sports, I hate when people in the NFL try to use the Patriots as the standard bearer of, well, we need to be like that. There's only one New England Patriots time. Tom Brady has 6 dang Super Bowls, folks. Aaron Rodgers is more skilled of a quarterback than Tom Brady, and he has 1.
Right.
It's not about you can't replicate things at times. It's not about one individual. Oh, well, what does he have to do to be a Michael Jordan? That's tough to do. That's why the only player, although Kobe looked like MJ and played like MJ and resume wise, a very good, 5 NBA champions. There's only been one player since MJ that we have truly gotten angry about having a discussion about who has challenged it for it. It's generational results. It only happens every so often. Yeah. So it's tough to use teams like that, like, UConn women's basketball. You can't, how do we become like that? You don't. You got to find the next second best thing and strive for that. And once you achieve that, then you go for that. We're talking in football right now, Alabama. It's bad for the sport. It's not bad for the sport. Ohio State's one hell of a program. That's more normal of what we are seeing in college. That to me is what normal greatness is. Always in the conversation, always have top recruiting classes, always in the hunt to win one, but it's tough to be Alabama. You're not going to be Alabama. It's tough to replicate what they're doing. That's why they're going to be one of the all-time. Nick Saban will be the best all-time head coach when it's all said and done. And I'm not saying Ohio State can't do what Alabama's doing, but we felt like Ohio State's coming off the best decade of Buckeye football ever. You won 1 national title. You won 1 national title, but we all feel, me included, man, that was a hell of a decade. We only won 1 title, but yet we feel like we're Alabama. Alabama won 6. That's insane. So I'm not here to debate Ohio State versus Alabama. My point is we always in every sport pick a team or a player and say that's who we need to be. You can't do that. And so that's why when it comes to Super Bowls and heading into this weekend, there's a good shot. We could potentially see Aaron Rodgers have a shot to win his second Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes might win, could be set up to win his second. Tom Brady might be well on his way to winning his 7th. Maybe Josh Allen's about to punch his ticket to winning his first. The point is we're always striving for trying to position people to be the next great. Right. And I think we need to be realistic of sometimes that's not always possible. I don't think you're going to see any of these guys win as many as Brady. I don't even think Patrick Mahomes wins as many as Brady. But the second Patrick Mahomes wins number 2, he's already an all-time great, no questions asked, and he's only 3 years into his career. That's what's insane about all of this.
A lot of rings out there, a lot of rings, opportunities to get more rings, especially with Patrick Mahomes. But out of the matchup, which one do you want to see in the Super Bowl the most?
I want to see for a storyline perspective, Tom Brady and the Bucs in the Super Bowl to me is like hosting a Super Bowl. That's unique. I mean, that's a home game. That's something we've never seen before. It's just one more thing to add to the resume of Tom Brady of accomplishments. And, although that's a team accomplishment, but man, I'm looking at Tom Brady versus Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen.
But check this out with the Josh Allen, the Bills happened to beat Tom Brady to get a Super Bowl. Obviously, they couldn't beat Tom Brady.
Payback for that story.
So, you can twist it, but I'm with you there. That would be the last on my list. And all due respect to all the Buffalo Bills fans out there listening, that would be the last one on my list that I would look forward to. The
Bucks and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Ideal Super Bowl, but Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes is pretty. I mean, this is a fun weekend. It's a fun weekend.
I think that would be the most entertaining game. Chiefs and Packers will be the most entertaining. The lead up to Patrick Mahomes, Brady would be like Sports Center heaven. Like the changing of the guard, is he going to get 6? Like they would eat that up. But I think the best game would be KC Green Bay.
All right, we're live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show live on Facebook, and you'll be able to like the show page as well as tune in weekdays from 3 to 6. When you watch, you can interact with us by leaving a comment in the comment section. We pull your profile picture as well as your comment into the show, and then we interact with you that way. Which is the matchup that you most ideally want to watch in the Super Bowl as we're heading into the AFC-NFC title weekend? Right now on Facebook, we're seeing, David Shaw says, I want to see A-Rod versus Mahomes, and Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you can't go wrong with that matchup. Absolutely not. Again, Josh Nichols says Chiefs versus Packers. The winner is the best quarterback in the league at this point. And Aaron Rodgers arguably has been the best quarterback in the league for quite some time now. But again, how do we define greatness?
Right.
Titles, Super Bowls, NBA championships, World Series, Stanley Cups. That's how we define greatness. But I don't think you can look at Aaron Rodgers and say he hasn't been great. He's been great, but again, everything is about not just, and he has one. But the problem is so does Drew Brees, and there's a lot of, Peyton Manning has 2, so it's like you got to get 2 to at least equal Peyton Manning and 3 to surpass him, and then Patrick Mahomes could potentially win his second coming up. It's interesting. Lamar Shelley on Facebook says Saints, Tampa, Indy, Steelers could all lose their quarterbacks with bad draft position. What do you suggest the next move should be, draft or free agency? Lamar, we're going to get into this coming up in a moment about the Texans situation. The big domino to what Lamar's asking right now is going to be Deshaun Watson. You and I discussed this earlier, at least during the break. How many teams in the NFL, if they look down and see that the Texans are calling him, offering Deshaun Watson, how many teams do you ignore that call? We'll get into that coming up later in the show. But Lamar, we'll get into that coming up in a moment. But 457-9464. By the way, Mr. Know-It-All, he says that Phillip Rivers is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mr. Know-It-All.
Oh, yeah, Mr. He used to call into the show all the time. Class would always be in session. He would be mad because we never had the school bell sound effect for him. But I would love to, Dwayne, I would love you to call in. Mr. Know-It-All, call in. Explain why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's probably right.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know why when I just look at Patrick Mahomes, he just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why.
Rivers.
What'd I say?
Mahomes.
Oh, no, Mahomes is special. Mahomes is garbage, folks. It took Chad Henne to beat the Browns, folks, not Patrick Mahomes. Oh, that's still painful. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. 457-9464. Phone lines are open. We'll continue taking your reaction on Facebook. But be thinking about that. If the Houston Texans call every team in the NFL, how many teams in the NFL, when they look down and they see that it's the Texans calling them to offer Deshaun Watson, how many teams in the NFL say, "No, I'm good"? How many? Because whoever your team is, Bengals, Browns, how many teams in the NFL say, "No, I'm good"? We'll discuss on the other side. 457-9464. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 34. Tonight's going to be mainly clear, a low around 28. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy and windy, a high near 44. I'm Pete Spy back for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the one standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Smith & Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured, are not bank guaranteed, and may lose value.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper pet kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part, Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper pet kit. Because shed happens.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City, Ohio is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which include flexible schedules, career growth opportunities, best-in-class benefits, and competitive starting wages. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Search distribution and enter Tip City. Once again, call 937-669-9109 for an interview. We look forward to you joining the team at Meyer. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Connect with your favorite radio shows through contests, social media, and podcasts. Create custom alarms with your favorite radio stations, all free with the radio.com app.
Menards has everything you need to make your home a better place to live. Save big money on all the top name brand products you know and love, like Tide and Era laundry detergent, Bounty paper towels, Swiffer dusters, Charmin bath tissue, and more. A 96 load bottle of Era liquid laundry detergent is just $7.99 now at Menards. Prices are good until January 31st.
Save big money at Menards.
What's in store this week at Staples?
Printing you new signs for the times.
Get back to business with custom printed signs and sales materials. Staples has hundreds of designs to choose from, or just upload your own.
And now at Staples, get 25% off custom flyers, brochures, postcards, or labels when you spend $70 or more.
Some items printed same day when ordered before 2 p.m.
Save big on custom printing at Staples. Ends 2/27. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 offer per customer. See store associate or visit staples.com/custom prints for details.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
If you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
Football fans, the Sunday morning tailgate show is officially back. Every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m. College football Hall of Famer Keith Myers and Justin Kinner will be live at Frickers on 740 on Twitter. Make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, we are back with you live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. NFC Championship game coming up this weekend. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers going up against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then, of course, on the AFC title side, you have possibly Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs will be there. Will it be Chad Henne part 2? We'll find that out. Again, no official word has come out about the health and status of Patrick Mahomes. As, of course, we head into the AFC Championship game this weekend, the Chiefs and the Bills. And the thing is, it's interesting. Yesterday we had ESPN Jason Fitz on, and I asked him which team blew a bigger opportunity. The Browns had an opportunity to come back and win as they went up against the Chiefs team who had a backup quarterback in, and it doesn't matter who the backup is. The fact that it's not Patrick Mahomes, that right there is a reason why you should feel confident that you can come back and win when you were only down a few possessions. It wasn't like the score was out of reach. I felt like the Browns squandered an opportunity there, especially with Patrick Mahomes missing so much time and then having multiple drives down the stretch to take the lead and not being able to convert. Now, with that being said, you look over to the other side of the AFC, the Ravens held the Buffalo Bills to only 10 points, 17 total, but 10 points. They held the Bills offense to only 10 points. And I think Lamar and the Ravens, I think they squandered more of an opportunity against the Bills than what the Browns did against the Chiefs, mainly because you look at the fact that the defense for the Ravens, they did what they were supposed to.
Absolutely.
I mean, we heard a promo a little bit before saying that, you look at the Bills and that they're playing the hottest football right now. Right now, they're coming off a weekend where your offense only put up 10 points. Your defense took a 99-plus yard pick six, an interception from Lamar Jackson from one end of the field to the other. Look, to me, I feel like both teams squandered an opportunity. This isn't me protecting the Browns because I'm still never going to every time I start to get excited about next season, I'm going to think back to, man, they literally had an entire half without Patrick Mahomes in a game that you were within striking distance. There's no excuse why you should not have been able to come back and win that damn game. But I do believe the Ravens and Lamar squandered a bigger opportunity than the Browns did, mainly just because you took the Bills and held them to 10 points, to 10. Now, to your point, you did kind of hold the Chiefs to 22, which that's the equivalent to 10 when you talk about how much more explosive that offense is. But just an interesting conversation with Jason Fitz that we had yesterday. But 457-9464, that's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Of course, we are live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. Like the page and be able to watch us every day from 3 to 6. When you interact in the comments section, we pull your profile picture as well as your comment into the show and interact with you that way. So, Kev, I asked a question before the break about if you are any team in the NFL right now and you look down and you see that the Houston Texans are calling you to engage in a potential trade opportunity for Deshaun Watson, how many teams in the NFL look at that call, see the Texans pop up on the caller ID and say, I'm good? I'm good. You have to ask yourself how many teams in the NFL are comfortable enough at quarterback to say that we don't even want to engage in conversations about Deshaun Watson. I feel like that list really isn't very long. I feel like if you're the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, you're good. If you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady for the short term, all right, I think the Bucs are set up to get to the Super Bowl at least 2 more times after this season for the next 3 years at least. I think they're good. I think that obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are good. I think it stops there. I don't think that there is any team outside of those three. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'll probably be wrong many times. Outside of those three situations, I don't think that there is a comfortable enough quarterback situation in the NFL that any team out there can say, no, we're good. We got our guy. Deshaun Watson, outside of those three teams, makes every one of those other teams we just mentioned immediately better.
I know we're going to argue about it, but if I'm the Browns,
blood pressure medicine's on point today. We good.
if I'm the Browns, I'm good.
Really? Okay. Baker sucks.
Considering that you're going to hopefully get Baker for $30 million, that can save you a lot of cap room. Josh Allen. No. I guess you will have to.
If you're saying Baker's good, if Cliff is good with Baker, I mean, Josh Allen has been better for the Bills than Baker for the Browns. Both have been fine.
The reason I would say Josh Allen, just because I've only seen Josh Allen been good this season. I've seen Baker be good this season and his rookie year. So if you force me to, I guess the only one I would definitely go with will be Russell Wilson.
That's one I forgot. And by the way, even though, we hate the Seahawks and all that stuff. No. I agree with you. That's the one guy I did forget, and I feel like I'm missing another obvious one. But I think those 4 quarterbacks.
No, that's it.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
I think the debatable ones are Josh Allen, Baker, and Lamar. Those are the only debatables. Everybody else is, hey man, you're out of here.
Yep, and I'm going down the list now. I mean, if you're just going to start in the AFC East, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. I think you can make an argument that if you see another season like this, and to your point, you need to see it more than just 1 year. That the Bills, I mean, you put Deshaun Watson with Stephon Diggs, and the way that that coaching staff and the job they've done and that defense, I like the Bills in that situation. The Miami Dolphins, of course. In fact, that's one of the teams that's in the conversation to even acquire him, whether he's giving up and moving on from Tua or using your high draft pick to get a Devontae Smith or some other weapons to provide for your quarterbacks, whoever that may be. The Patriots, absolutely.
Yes.
If they have the stock to be able to go up and get it.
They don't, though.
Yeah. And I guess we could take that part out. Forget about whether you're in position to get them. It's just how many teams are comfortable enough at quarterback to sit there and turn down an offer for Deshaun Watson. I think that, it's tough to find a commodity like him that exactly what you get. And that's greatness, right? That's why the Texans look so foolish right now, because they've squandered an opportunity here. The Jets, they actually do have what it takes. They got to decide if they want to draft or stick with Sam Darnold. They got to decide if they want to draft Justin Fields, or they got to decide if they want to take that number 2 pick and send it over to Houston for Deshaun Watson, and then they'll have less cap space to be able to make some changes and moves. But nonetheless, the Jets make a lot of sense. The Dallas Cowboys, I think, yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll be traded within the state, but that, whatever. The Giants, yes. The Eagles, yes. Washington, where do we sign? All right. The Minnesota Vikings, absolutely. We've talked about the Packers. No, they're good. Detroit, yes. The Bears, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to take the Bears off the list. They don't deserve to be in the running for him, because I feel like if you've passed up on him, you don't deserve to be in the conversation. But a lot of teams did, I guess, to be fair. So then you look at the Steelers. Absolutely. Some of these teams are like, well, of course. But, I mean, the likelihood of that happening is very slim. I say yes to Cleveland. As much as I love Baker Mayfield, there's no doubt that the gap between Baker, who took very good steps this year and moving forward and being the quarterback that I've been saying he's going to be, and what everyone's told me he's not going to be. I think he's going in that right direction. But Deshaun Watson with OBJ, with Jarvis Landry, with Higgins, absolutely. The Browns should definitely be entertained by it. Again, not saying that they're going to or that there's anything out there about it. We're just going down the list of teams. The Bengals, yes. Right. Why wouldn't you? I'm sorry, but you have a rookie quarterback that's only played 10 games. You have no clue what he's going to look like on the other side of this rehab. I know everything's, he's walking and everything's coming along quicker than what they anticipated. That's fine, but I'm not saying this to stir the pot. We have seen quarterbacks look great their rookie year and then questionable moving forward. Baker was that. Everyone swore that Baker was, Browns fans especially, had just as good a rookie year as of Joe Burrow, if not better. And look what happened the next year. So I have no clue who Burrow is going to be moving forward. I think it's safe to say he's going to be pretty solid. There's no signs to prove that he's not, but there was no signs to prove that Baker wasn't. So I'm going to say yes, the Bengals, absolutely. The Ravens is a tough one. You have an MVP quarterback already, but I think that the arm of Deshaun Watson and his playmaking ability with his legs, he's more of a hybrid version of what Lamar is. Even though Lamar is still better with his legs than Deshaun Watson, the better arm of Deshaun Watson elevates him over there. I say yes to Baltimore. The bottom line is, I'm not going to go through team by team from here on out. Everyone knows that the Kansas City Chiefs, the Packers, the Bucks, and the who else did Seahawks. If any team gets a call from Houston, you pick up that damn phone.
Yeah, you definitely got to do that.
No, you pick up the damn phone. No, I'm just joking.
Me, Charlie's on hold. He can hold. The thing about it, man. The thing with Deshaun is, like you said, with him and Lamar, like he has the leg ability and the ability to move around in the pocket like Lamar, but not just as explosive, but he has the arm talent, not at a Mahomes level, but is like a step below Mahomes level. That's why he's the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He actually has the leverage, and that's something that you rarely see in the NFL. He has a no trade clause. So they can't trade him to basically anywhere they want. Like, oh man, Team X is giving them a haul out of this world. He don't want to go there. He can say no. You know what I'm saying? So that is amazing that he has the power in his hands. I want to ask you, what is something fair? What's fair to give up for Lamar?
For Lamar?
No, I'm sorry, Deshaun.
The number 1 overall pick. the number 1 overall pick or the number 2 overall pick, those two teams are drafting quarterbacks just hoping and praying that they even turn into what Deshaun Watson is. So I don't know why when people say, well, that's way too high of a pick, I'm like, but think about what you're trying to accomplish with that number 1 overall pick. You are trying to find your franchise quarterback. Well, rather than drafting and hoping, you can take that draft pick and trade for a proven commodity that's going to come in already game ready. And now it fast forwards the progression process of the team, and maybe the team may not be up to par with who you're bringing in at quarterback, but man, that's the hardest part to find. There are teams out there who have the outside pieces who have yet to find the quarterback, and then there's teams who don't have the outside pieces and find the quarterback. But if you ask the teams who find the quarterback before the outside pieces, the job becomes so much easier once you have the quarterback. And that's what makes the Houston job so terrible, is because they found a way to find the quarterback and get worse. I mean, look, let's be clear. I bang on the Bengals all the time, but you could tell the offense just looked night and day different by inserting Joe Burrow in there. Browns 0-16 with Deshaun Kaiser at quarterback. Baker Mayfield, boom, instantly better just because of who they insert at quarterback. We see it every year in the league. Quarterback matters. It's no surprise. Look at the 4 teams in the playoffs right now fighting to get to a Super Bowl. 8 combined Super Bowls between the 4 of them. Yes, one doesn't have one and 2 of them only have one. But the point is that these guys having the quarterback matters. And that's why I say that. That's why I brought up the Jaguars over the weekend, and I got met with a lot of, if you're the Jaguars and Urban Meyer, you draft Trevor Lawrence. You don't trade that for, why wouldn't you? Urban Meyer and Deshaun Watson. And then I got a lot of, well, why would Houston trade within the division? They got to trade in the division because they don't have any other options.
Right.
You can sure get a number 12 overall pick. How does that help you with getting your quarterback that you want? Sure, there might be a quarterback there, but it's not the Trevor Lawrence. If you get you're basically trading Trevor Lawrence for Deshaun Watson. I think that's a fair pick. If you're Urban Meyer, you can argue, well, I don't want to face, Trevor Lawrence 4 or 2 times a year. You don't know what he's going to be. We think he's going to be good, but I don't care at this point. You have Deshaun Watson. You automatically win that trade. Even if Trevor Lawrence turns out to be good. Quarterback to quarterback, head-to-head battle, you still have the upper hand in that. So if I'm the Jaguars, I don't even think about it. I get the Texans on the phone and I do it. And if I'm the Texans, I don't turn it down because it's within the division. Who else is going to give you an option better than that? And don't tell me Justin Fields at number 2, because we are not sure. There's a lot more doubts about Justin Fields than Trevor Lawrence at this point, whether we like it or not, just based on the last game that we saw of Justin Fields. And there was more of those types of games than the games against Clemson that we saw for many scouts and teams to feel comfortable. I don't know why people act like it's that insane to trade him within the division, because the Texans, they need to get rid of that cap space and they want to move on from Deshaun. I think secretly they want to move on from him more than he wants to move on from them, because they're handicapped by the contract, man. They can't do anything else with it.
Well, they were handicapped before. That's why they traded Deshaun Hopkins. That's why they're just in a total train wreck. They allowed the the head coach to be the GM, and he was making bad deals left or right. The thing about it is, if you're trading Deshaun Watson to Jacksonville, obviously you're going to want that 1. I was reading reports where they're looking to get 2 1s and 2 2s. So do you trade him? Do you accept that trade? And then basically they took all your capital to make your team better. So that's where I will worry about trading for him. Like, hold on, man, you talk
about the Jags?
Yeah. Like, you have all this capital with draft picks, and then you give it up to get him, and then what? Now, how are you going to make your team better?
What if it's just 1 pick?
No. They want multiple number 1 picks. They want this year's, obviously, the following years. They want like this year's number 1, this year's number 2 pick, and then next year's number 1 and number 2.
Well, that's the beauty part about being the Jaguars is you have leverage there. They don't. They want Deshaun Watson. They'll give you the number 1 overall pick and say, this is all you're getting. We're basically swapping Trevor Lawrence for Deshaun Watson. Take it or leave it. All right, we'll leave it. That's fine. We still got Trevor Lawrence and the number 1 overall pick. So that's where I kind of look at it like that in that round. But 457-9464. Let's go to Charlie. Charlie, thanks for holding, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Hey.
I watched the Browns game with the Browns fan, and is that guy going to get fined for hitting for that crown hit? Man, that was ridiculous.
Which one? The one on the The touchback.
It turned the game. Yeah, I mean the Browns should have won that game.
Well, for one, yes, they should have won. I don't blame that play for why they didn't. I blame the Browns for not being able to capitalize in the second half when you're going up against a backup quarterback and any quarterback that's not Patrick Mahomes. I'm actually very critical of the Browns not getting that job done as far as that goes. But it is what it is. I know people want to look at a play in the first half, but I said the same thing about the Buckeyes versus Clemson last year when I said, hey, look, you can blame that official, the reversal of the call is why they lost, but there's so many other errors that the Buckeyes made to lose, and I'm saying the same thing about the Browns. I'm not going to say that touchback rule is why they lost. It would have made the game different and closer down the stretch, but ultimately, how about you don't let Henne run for a first down 14 yards or more? How about you don't let him make plays with his arm that he's not capable of making? You do those things, you win the damn ball game.
Yeah, it was a bummer because you know what? After watching Buffalo play, I mean, I think Cleveland could have went in and ran them. I was not impressed at all by Buffalo, but with the Deshaun Watson thing, man, I mean, the Colts to me are the no-brainer. Like they're in no position to get a quarterback like Jacksonville is. And if I'm Jacksonville, I don't trade because now you instantly have pressure. Whereas if you just stick with Trevor Lawrence, well, he's a rookie, it's not as much pressure, and you still have your draft capital. And the other thing with Deshaun Watson is hasn't he torn both of his ACLs?
Yeah, I know he did on his left knee. I'm not sure about the right knee, but yeah, he's definitely has some knee issues.
Yeah, I mean, you're just in the position. Like, I'm a Bengals fan. Like, I don't think I'm not concerned about Joe Burrow now that he's shredded his knee. Like, that's scary. And that's the kind of stuff that's like, well, you could have took Trevor Lawrence, who has no knee problems. Now you're taking a guy who has a lot of injury issues. So I don't know. I hope he ends up with a winner. I really like Deshaun Watson. It sucks what went on in Houston. But
And I think you got to ask yourself, too, I mean, if you are a team like Jacksonville or others who are not good and try to trade for him, it's not like he makes you that much better only because he's proven that, let's be clear. It's not like the Texans were winning with the bad roster with them, right? Like, there is that point to look at as well. It's not like he was, I love when Dabo he's a Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan could will you to wins. I'm not sure if Deshaun Watson's willing you to wins. I mean, I don't know why we're not treating some of Deshaun's stats the way we did Dak Prescott's, where a lot of those stats came when you're behind in a game and you're just slinging it around the field trying to come back. I like Deshaun. I'm not trying to go back on what I've been saying, but at the same time, I do believe we give him a little bit more preferential benefit of the doubt than we do with Dak Prescott with Dallas.
Yeah, that's why I don't touch it. If I'm Urban Meyer, I mean, you're talking about a coach who has retired twice because of heart issues, and he has instant pressure if he gets Deshaun Watson.
Well, that's true too. It speeds up the expectation timeline. So I'll agree with you on that. Or if you draft Trevor Lawrence, it's a rookie quarterback. You basically get the first year off. You definitely want to see improvement in year 2, and year 3 definitely ramps up. But to your point, you get Deshaun Watson, you're expected to see immediate results now, and I just don't think there's enough, material there for them to be able to draft and free agent. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, I'm with you on that. The expectation timeline definitely moves up.
If anything happens to Deshaun Watson and you had the chance to draft Trevor Lawrence, it's like last year when we drafted Joe Burrow, like the Bengals, they couldn't do anything else. Like Chase Young, to me, had a better year, but you couldn't. Like the fans, it's like this year. If we don't draft a lineman, man, it's not going to look good for the fans. Like there might be better options, but you're almost kind of like put in a position. And Trevor Lawrence, like you cannot miss. No matter what, if you draft Trevor Lawrence, the fans are going to be happy, even if it's not a good year. It's like with Joe Burrow. Like most Bengals fans, are like we got Burrow, man. Yeah, we only won 4 games, but we got our guy.
No, I'm with you. That's why, I got poked fun of about Baker's rookie year. Everyone's like, well, I don't know what you're happy about. You didn't make the playoffs. You only won 7 games. I'm like, look, it wasn't. I mean, yes, the wins mattered, but at the same time, we saw an improvement. And it felt like you had your quarterback of the future because as Browns fans and Bengals fans know, it's tough when you don't have that damn quarterback. And both teams feel like they have it now. And it's amazing how it totally changes the confidence level of those fan bases.
Burrow is Cleveland. Like he changed everything.
Burrow is not Cleveland. Don't you disrespect that great city by saying Burrow is Cleveland. Baker is Cleveland.
That's what I meant. Baker. Hey, it's been a long season, Justin. But but it matters so much, and you just can't miss. And I think Deshaun, there's plenty of other places for him to go with teams that it's not like. What are the Colts what are they going to do? Like, you take a flyer on a late round quarterback and maybe it works out, but probably not. Like, that's your guy. Like, I don't know if they have what it takes. The Eagles, they're in a horrible position. I don't know if they could do anything to get him. But with like the Jets, it's like, could you package Sam Darnold and a number one? Like with the Eagles, could you package your number one and I can't even think of his name.
You talking about Jalen Hurts?
No.
They're talking about for the Eagles. I think they're talking about for the Eagles. So, but the Colts are sitting at number 21 right now. I think the Colts are going to be patient and take their chances with taking one of those rookies. It's definitely. I mean, there's 3 or 4 good rookies. I mean, one of them is going to be there at 21. And if they feel
sign Andy Dalton.
Yeah, maybe. But they want to get. I think they're tired of the rented quarterback thing. But Charlie, we're out of time, man.
All right, see you guys
later. What do the Colts do, by the way? You can't go get another rented quarterback. I'm knocking on Andrew Luck's door.
I don't think Luck coming back, man. Luck don't strike me as a dude that wants to come back. He's too busy creating book clubs, enjoying life with the wife and kids, man, using that engineering degree.
Okay.
Like, he's just like, well, football. Who needs that?
The Colts do need to make sure that whatever they do at quarterback, the Wentz thing makes a lot of sense because you got to go get someone that's going to be young enough that you're going to build around moving forward. But you can't go get an Andy Dalton. You can't go get a veteran quarterback that only has a year or 2 left because that's not helping you at all. And that's going to make
tread water.
Free agents are going to want to come there. I mean, that's 2 straight years now where you've just been throwing guys at quarterback, not knowing what the future holds at that position. So eventually you got to land with somebody. And it can't just be a rented quarterback again as far as that goes. All right, we have a chance for you to win $10,000. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday opportunity. On the other side of the break, I'll have that winning word for you. You'll take that word to wingam.com and enter it for your chance to win $10,000. One more time, it's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. We'll have that winning word for you on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store or at homedepot.com/Pro Extra for details.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason Hyatt, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
These days, it's okay to do some things halfway, like wearing your pajama bottoms on a work call, but managing your prescriptions shouldn't be one of them. That's why CVS has a proprietary search tool to find ways that may help lower your prescription costs, and will deliver them for free. No wonder CVS customers are better than most at staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. Come in or call today and get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Delivery restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com for details.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. The Army National Guard has taught me the value of showing respect to those I come in contact with each day. My service also allows me to be there for my community in ways others can't. I help my hometown recover after nature strikes. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country and those I care about safe from threats. I also work with a network of professionals that help me succeed and accomplish the mission. Plus, the Army National Guard education benefits make getting a higher education a reality. Being an Army National Guard soldier makes living and serving in my community more rewarding every day. Learn how you too can live and serve part-time, close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Make sure your family doesn't have a fever by taking their temperatures both before dinner and in the morning. Stay safe with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the #1 preferred thermometer of pediatricians.
Dayton Flyers basketball fans, don't miss Talking Out Loud with Sully every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Game recaps, game previews, visits from former Flyer greats, and more. It's a show by the fans, for the fans. Talking Out Loud with Sully, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Wear red and be loud. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. So on Twitter, Jim Bowden tweets this regarding Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer makes it clear on his YouTube channel that winning and getting back to the World Series is important to him, which, by the way, that's such a stupid thing to say because you know what? How about you find me a player that says, nah, winning and World Series don't matter to me. That, so anyways, on to the next thing. It's important. So creating a partnership with a team that won't give him pushback on his training program, analytics, and social networking, geography and market size are not important to him. I know you could say the right things and say geography and market size don't matter, but let's be clear, market size / money is the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, big picture, when you talk about that. So I get it when it comes to Trevor Bauer. You know, his time in Cincinnati, I believe, is as good as done. I would love to see him come back to Cincinnati. I think that the one thing that Trevor Bauer, I think, does consider is the fact that he is going to be relentless on pursuing this money, because at no point throughout Trevor Bauer's career, and he has looked good throughout his career, don't get me wrong, but he has never looked as dominant as what he did last season. I shouldn't say that. He has looked that dominant at times throughout his career, but he has never looked dominant for an entire season. And technically, he was dominant for an entire season. The problem is that season was 60 games. So Trevor Bauer's numbers are truncated into a 100-game less season than what we're accustomed to. So if you're Trevor Bauer, of course you have to go after every dollar possible. You can't gamble on yourself and say, hey, I'm going to take less money to sign a one-year contract, and whether it's with Cincinnati or elsewhere, I'll just do what I did last year and then make bank next year after, since, markets should open up a little bit. Who knows? We don't even know how many fans will be allowed at games this coming up here. But the problem with that is Trevor Bauer doesn't trust himself. That's why teams got to be a little cautious as well. You kind of got to read between the lines a little bit. Trevor Bauer's desperate, yes, as we all are, to get as much money as we can. Don't get me wrong. But I think Trevor's a little bit more desperate than most on the free agent market, mainly because he knows that his stock may never be as high as what it is right now. His stock plummeted when he was traded from the Indians a couple of years ago. It plummeted when he was just not pitching very well at all for the Cincinnati Reds for that half season that he was traded. He struggled making it out of the third and fourth innings for most games. And you're probably saying, well, you're lucky if David Bell lets you go 4 innings in a game. That I agree with you on. But the bottom line is at this point, Trevor Bauer is going to look for as much money as possible, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. Now, I know you're saying, well, most players try to pursue as much. Most players have the flexibility of saying, you know what, I'm going to gamble on myself. I'm going to take less money for 1 year, and then I'll reevaluate a year from now. I just think Trevor Bauer's in a situation now where if you have to play at full 162, your ERA is not going to be under 2 like it was last year. Your ERA, your wins I don't really think matter too much anymore. I think that's more of a team stat. So I don't think people pay attention to that too much. I think that's icing on top. But Trevor Bauer, man, I'm going to be keeping my eye on what's going on with this, because I don't think he is going to take less money. But if he decides that, you know what, the reason I had the success I did is because the Reds let me do my thing. David Bell let me do that weird warm-up routine that I'm throwing the ball from one end of the field to the other. I was able to get my, analytics team. That's part of their pitching program now. That's because of Bauer. There's a lot of things that the Reds embraced and invested in that was Bauer-related with the plans of signing him long-term. I do remember last year at a certain point watching Trevor Bauer saying, he's pitching too good. Yes, I said that. He's pitching too good. Hey, Trevor Bauer, you're working a little too hard. You can give up a couple hits a game. I mean, you don't need to go for this one-hitter crap. I mean, you could give up 2 to 3 hits a game just so that the Reds can afford you. But you start doing this one hit a game, less than a run a game crap, and now you're just as good as gone. So, yeah, that's me, rooting for guys to be good, but not too bad. Welcome to being a Reds fan.
Well, if he did that, they wouldn't have scored enough runs to win those games.
Holy moly, no kidding. That's the truth. But no, Trevor, I'm interested in how that's going to go. But 457-9464, that's the number to call in. Real quick, head to wingam.com. It's your chance to win 1,000. Forget 1,000. 10,000. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday opportunity every hour, starting at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. We give out a keyword, a winning word that you'll take and enter at wingam.com, and that'll give yourself a shot to win $10,000. Enter the word cover, COVER. Enter the word cover at wingam.com for your chance to win $10,000. One more time, it's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday opportunity. Enter the winning word cover at wingam.com. 457-9464. Before we close out hour number 1, let's go to the phones. We got Jeff. Jeff, thanks for holding. How are you, sir?
Hello, Justin. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate to revisit earlier topic. I wasn't able to.
I thought you said I hate you. I thought that's what you said to start things off. I'm like, well, damn, Jeff. I thought I had a calm day today.
you always go there, Justin. But hey, I'm telling you, you don't sound as cheery and rosy as you should be. Your Browns did good. You got a couple things going for you. I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Colts fan. Okay, you can win. You've got that confidence now and the knowledge that you can. You've got the experience now. The majority of your team, both offense and defense, is under contract for next season. You got lucky. You've got a good, young-minded coach, and you can win with Baker Mayfield. And really, my opinion from watching that game this weekend, they outplayed Kansas City. It was a play or two that went Kansas City's way, and that's how they won the game. We won't even talk about the targeting that wasn't called. But your Browns are going to be okay. Now, what I do take exception with you and what motivated me to call today is you said Brady's going to be around 2 or 3 more years.
I think so. I'm being generous, but yeah. I think so. I think. I mean, look, a lot of the talent around him right now has protected him a bit, and I think that talent's going to remain there for at least 2 more years.
The talent mate, Justin, he's 43 years old. I tell you what, I'm going to go on record now.
Okay.
Kevin is be the witness and all your listeners. If Tom Brady is quarterbacking in Tampa Bay 2 more seasons, I'll pay CertaPro the next time they paint your house.
So listen.
Justin, did you not watch Drew Brees, Big Ben, and our quarterback this season, Phillip Rivers? Mm-hmm. And it's called Father Time, Justin. Tom Brady's 43 years old. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to come down too hard on you. You're not the only sportscasters that believe Brady's going to be around until the 22nd century. But, earlier this season, there was talk that Brady might be done with the whole rubber arm deal. Now, granted, he came on strong the second part of the season, but 2 or 3 more years, no way. He's 43 years old. Well, he's been on ball time.
Jeff, real quick, you talk about that rubber arm thing. Let's be clear. There's only 2 quarterbacks that had more passing yards than Tom Brady this year, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. In fact, Tom Brady had more touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. I know what you're saying, and I think you're starting to see that, hey, he's starting to wear down more towards the back end. He doesn't look as strong, but to be clear, he has more passing yards and pass attempts than any other quarterback in the playoffs right now. So that's interesting to look at. So here's the other deal, too, with that. And I completely agree with the concept of what you're saying, that, yes, Father Time is going to catch up with them. But Tom Brady's been that outlier that me and Kev talked about earlier in regards to everyone always wants to compare guys to this particular player, Tom Brady being one of them. You can't. I think that the normal quarterback to compare everyone to is Drew Brees right now. A great that's starting to slow down because of the age. You can't use Tom Brady in that. His number, in fact, the Buccaneers are using him more. They were supposed to bring in Leonard Fournette in this run game to use him less, and they're using him more than what the Patriots ever did. So I know what you're saying, but Tom Brady is actually playing at a higher level now than what he did the last couple of years in New England.
Well,
and I will give you this: they're adding an extra game in the regular season, so that's going to extend the season even longer, which is going to have Tom Brady playing longer. So that can slow things down a bit.
Remember, you're still limited to 16 games per player, unless they change that. It's my understanding that you had to manage your pros, and that was
that made official? I know they made it 17, but I know what Jeff's talking about, where I thought, and maybe that is the rule, where you could only use your starters in 16 of the 17 games in exchange for one less preseason game. But I cannot remember if that was ever made official.
Yeah, and they said that was another aspect that would make that 17th game more exciting, because you, as the opposing coach or coordinators, you had to figure out, okay, say, for instance, you play Tampa Bay next week.
Yep.
You don't know if that's going to be Tom Brady's scheduled off game or not. And let me say one other thing when I get out the way.
Okay.
Another thing with your Browns. You remember, rarely do you go that first year to the playoffs and you go all the way. You usually knock on the door that first year. And then the second or third years, when you break through the door. And just think about Kansas City. 2 years ago, they were eliminated by the Patriots in the playoffs. Look what happened last year. Look where they're at this year.
Absolutely.
So keep your head up. Things are looking good for your Browns.
Jeff, you have 20 seconds. Who do you want? You're a Colts fan. Who do you want at your quarterback next year?
Brissett.
So you're comfortable there?
I'm comfortable there.
Okay, fair enough.
I was pleased with him. We could do a lot worse than him.
All right, fair enough, man. Hey, I appreciate the call, Jeff. You take care.
Thanks, guys.
He gonna pay, but you heard him, that CertaPro deal. He said he gonna. Oh man! All right, Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. But the Tom Brady numbers, man, are unbelievable. Like Drew Brees, like I think I was always under the impression that Drew Brees was playing better than he actually was this year. That's why when you were bringing up, like, he doesn't look as good, I'm like, Kev, what are you talking about? Look at the stats, look at the number. I'm like, oh, he doesn't look that good. But you look at Tom Brady, his numbers are better now than what they were the last 3 years in New England, and that includes the Super Bowl. And if you look at the MVP year, his numbers were better this year than when he won MVP a few years ago. So
something that I
that's
noticed is they're listening to Tom Brady and they're really honing their offense to what he does best. Like, yeah, they still take shots downfield, but they're timing shots and they're running a ton of drag routes, ton of crossing routes, things that he did with New England, and tons of option routes. You know, those are passes that Tom Brady excels with, and that's why Godwin is such a big time receiver for them, because he's their inside guy who runs those option routes for them, as well as Scotty Miller. So the downfield threats obviously are there with Evans and Gronk, but you still have those crossing routes to kind of warm his arm up for those deep shots. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, man, Tom Brady is different. You know, we use that phrase a lot around here, but, you know, maybe it's the avocado ice cream. I don't know what it is, man, but the last couple years with the Patriots, it looked like he was falling off, and to start of the season, it looked like, oh yeah, it's over for him. Get him up out of here. And then he turned it on, and he's starting to play some real good football now. So you better watch out, man. Tom Brady may be around 5 more years. I don't know.
And the thing of Tom Brady is when people say, oh, well, it's easy to beat Tom Brady when you have all those weapons. I think if there's a quarterback out there that deserves to have a lot of talent around him for the back part of it, it's the guy that won all those Super Bowls without the elite talent around him at all times. And that's I don't think we need to get into a heated debate. It's not like he played with these all-world players. Like, they were good players. You don't win Super Bowls with scrubs.
Right.
But he wasn't he never had the best receiving core, never had the best run game, never had the best offensive line, never had the best defense. They just always had the best coach and the best quarterback tandem in the league.
And the crazy part is when he did have the best receiving core in the league, they lost the Super Bowl.
They undefeated on top of it. It's a freaking Peyton's brother. How about that? Chris says, Bengals knocked on the door 5 years in a row. How did that work out? Well, again, Cleveland Browns get there one time and win a playoff game against Kev's Steelers, who they didn't just knock on the door. It was more like ding dong ditch. That was the Steelers this year.
But he's right, though. Like, you can't
take
it
that
for granted.
Just burn your team and you just keep on going. Skinner does like you said, not giving him the attention he wants.
No, I'm not. It's like you said with Dan Marino, man. Like, these guys and these players got to take advantage of the opportunity that's presented to them, because, yeah, like, oh, man, we got there. Next year, we're going to be even better. We don't know about injuries. We don't know about anything. Anything could blow up a team. Anything can blow up a season just like that. And then you go back and look at your season that you didn't make the playoffs. Like, how we didn't make the playoffs? We went 11-5 last year. Now we're 7-9. How did that happen? And, hey, man.
Life comes at you quick.
Yeah. Injury to the wrong player at the wrong time. It's all downhill.
By the way, you know why today's a good day?
Do tell.
Shout out to our sales staff. All right, they're doing a good job. So I get this email. Hey, you and Kev good with the food drop tomorrow from Milano's? Dan, of course we are. Of course, we love food. Of course we want Milano's to drop off food. So shout out to Mr. Dan Covey, one of our sales associates. We love Dan. Dan's the man, and he got to, we haven't had a food drop since the new year started. So, new year, same fat me. That's totally fine. Bring on the food drop from Milano's tomorrow. I'm pretty pumped about that. All right, folks. Appreciate that call, Jeff. Absolutely. And he's fine with Brissett. We're sitting here acting like they've actually had a quarterback that they've kind of played keep away with a little bit here and there. They may not have to, they just need to maybe continue adding weapons, continue, adding wide receivers. You have T.Y. Hilton, who's actually a free agent. They got to decide what they're doing with him, by the way. But we'll get into all that later on. Hour 2 next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Is the cost of finishing the basement Worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes. A $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody or apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S., all free.
With the radio.com app.
Make it a new family habit to take your temperature with the Exergen Temporal Scanner before dinner and in the morning. It's the #1 thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
So, Kev, the one narrative that I keep getting a lot of right now is that, well, teams are going to be very cautious in baseball of spending money because, well, there was only 60 games, there was no fans, there was a lot of lost revenue, and every team took a hit. So every team is not going to spend money. Everyone's going to be a little weary. That's what we were told. And I think that that is a realistic issue that teams are facing, but I do think that sometimes, and I think we do it in our everyday lives, where there are opportunities that come up due to natural disasters like, of course, this pandemic that's hitting us. And there are people that take advantage of, for instance, there is a lot of COVID protocols put in place to help protect the employees who are feeling ill or who, don't want to miss work because of this. So there's a lot of things that people are taking advantage of right now, whether it's fake COVID, symptoms or whatnot, to get some time off. We all do that all the time, where there are a lot of rules and a lot of excuses put in place that can keep us from going to our job or performing at a high level at our job. And some will fight through it and others will use it as a crutch. And I feel like we're seeing that in Major League Baseball. I do believe that the built-in excuse of why teams won't spend money this offseason is because 60 games last season, no fans, that's impacted the financial situation for a lot of teams. That's a crutch. That's an excuse, a built-in excuse. A lot of teams are going to get away with not spending money or unloading roster pieces this offseason and say, COVID. No fans in the stands, lost revenue. COVID, sorry, we're not going to bring back our start. The Cubs just literally depleted their roster, although they did, bring back Chris Bryant and Rizzo and guys but they depleted their roster. The Cubs aren't making moves to win a World Series in 2021. COVID. Now, there are teams who literally are strapped because of COVID and they can't make moves. And that is unfortunate for them. But then what it does is when you have teams who are out there spending money and doing it the right way and trying to win, then you start looking at the teams who aren't spending money and saying, Are you really not spending money because of COVID, or are you just using this as a crutch and as an excuse to maybe use this off season as an off season of not doing anything because COVID? And that's where I have a problem with a lot of teams in baseball, because we were told that teams weren't going to spend money this offseason. The money's just not there. But I'm looking at the Blue Jays, who just added George Springer to their roster today. Spent $150 million to get the individual, by the way. Now, there was a deal on the table. It had sounded as if it was official. They got Michael Brantley as well. We've been live on the air since 3, folks. So if you guys know this, help me. But I believe that it was reported as official that Michael Brantley was with the Blue Jays, and then it was not official that he was still looking over some other teams' offers, that he's not technically officially signed yet. But the bottom line is we're seeing teams make moves. How about the Padres? They go out and get, Joe Musgrove from the Pirates, and the Padres have been very busy this offseason. They go out and get Blake Snell and Yu Darvish. COVID, what are you doing? Oh, they want to win.
Right.
They want to win. So, again, there are some teams who are saying, you know what? No, You got these billionaire owners, lots of money. I know it's not directly out of their pocket that they're spending money, but sometimes, just like any owner of a business, sometimes you are spending your own money. If you have to, you got to spend money to make money. You look at the Mets, they get Francisco Lindor and they get Carrasco, and they're continuing to add pieces. They're firing Winnie Schoening GMs. I mean, it's very weird, but they're trying to win, right? You look at the Yankees, they get Corey Kluber, they get LeMahieu, they go on, they're adding pieces. The Nationals, how about this, by the way? The Nationals, I started piecing together what they've been doing this offseason, Kev. They get Josh Bell. They get Kyle Schwarber. They added John Lester. You add John Lester, who's not going to be your number one, but if you have John Lester in the same rotation that has Max Scherzer and Strasburg, a rotation that just won you a World Series a few years ago, I'm sorry, I love that addition. And the fact that you already have Trey Turner and you add Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber into that lineup, I love what the Nationals have done. I'm watching teams who are literally going all in. And then there's the Cincinnati Reds, who are bragging about the fact that Vegas has them as the favorites to win the NL Central. But what have you done? You didn't bring back your Cy Young winning ace in Trevor Bauer.
Right.
You let DeSclafani go. You let a lot of pieces go. Sure, you picked up your tried to avoid arbitration with a lot of guys, including Luis Castillo and others. But let's be clear, the Reds weren't aggressors. You let Archie Bradley go, who was signed for $5 million. You mean to tell me the Reds couldn't afford $5 million for a really good piece in that bullpen, which is why they will lose games this year because of that pen? You let Iglesias go. You mean to tell me you couldn't keep those guys? You couldn't spend $5 million. Like, that's where I'm concerned when it comes to the Reds, is because they are hiding behind. They are being lazy. They are hiding behind the fact that Vegas comes out and says, "Oh, they're the favorites to win the NL Central." They got better based on other teams getting worse in the division. They didn't actively go out and try to get better. The Reds stayed, they let pieces go. And my problem with all of that is you went all in last year. The Reds went all in. They went out and they got, Moustakas and Castellanos, and they go and get Akiyama. They went all in. All right. And that's the problem I have, is why do all of that just to not even win your division and to make the playoff on an extra playoff spot that was made available due to the pandemic and expanded playoffs? Did the Castellinis really go all out just to barely make the playoffs and have a first round exit, an embarrassing exit at that, when they couldn't even put a run up on the board? Did the Reds really go all in just for that? And the Reds, again, you're keeping this roster intact right now the way it is, although you have shopped some pieces. There was a lot of rumors earlier in the week about potentially the Yankees landing Luis Castillo, which, again, depending on what you get in return, I'm not for it, but I could at least understand it big picture. But I don't know what the Reds' plans are right now. It doesn't make sense. 1 week, I'm hearing rumors of they're sending scouts and their GM to watch Corey Kluber pitch, because why? Are you going to just go there to not offer him something? Or are you going to go offer him something? 1 week they're sending us signals as, we're looking to just unload payroll. And then the next week they're out watching Corey Kluber pitch. What are you doing? I'm fine with watching Corey Kluber pitch. That means that you are interested in adding pieces. But that's 1 week. And then the next week the Reds are looking to shop off Sonny Gray. They're looking to get rid of Luis Castillo. And I'm like, well, what are we doing here? And then don't give me this mess of, the responsible thing is to always take calls, to always see what's out there. That makes sense if you're the Yankees and the teams that actually try and win. When you're the Cincinnati Reds, they're not taking calls based on what's best for the team now. It's always about the future. Now, that sounds weird for me, ripping a team for always thinking about the future. But maybe, just maybe, when you do what teams like the Mets and the Yankees and Nationals, Blue Jays, and Padres have done this offseason, when you go for the now, it's amazing what happens. It doesn't guarantee you a World Series, but it guarantees you that your fans are going to remain in love with you, and you're going to add new fans, and you're going to be able to build on the success. I will never understand the obsession with always being worried about the future and never being focused on the now. It's always about the future. I get that. But the one thing is, and the one thing I know, and I tweeted this out earlier about the Reds and Major League Baseball, every team's financial situation is different, but the one thing that should always remain the same is the desire to win. And I don't feel the Reds have a desire to win because there's blood in the water. The Cubs stripped their damn roster. The Pirates aren't even considered an actual Major League Baseball team, in my opinion. All right, the Cardinals, they're kind of hiding in the weeds a little bit, but we saw that even them, we always say, it's the Cardinals, it's the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals couldn't get it in last year. So the Reds have an opportunity here, whether it is bringing Trevor Bauer back, whether it was making an effort at Corey Kluber, whether it is, was pulling the trigger and trying to find a way to get Francisco Lindor. You could still get Didi Gregorius. The Reds have an opportunity here to go for the kill. And let me say this. You don't just sit back and just hope your roster is good enough to win you a division so you can be knocked out in the first round of the playoffs again. What are you aspiring to be? I always look at my pro teams and look at the front office and say, what are you telling me? If I'm a Bengals fan, Mike Brown, what are you trying to tell me that your goal is with Joe Burrow? Is it just to win more games than you lose and make the playoffs from time to time and remain interesting like what he did in the early 2010s? Or is it, we got Joe Burrow, we're going all in, we're trying to win a Super Bowl? Because I feel good about what the Browns ownership has done, and that's one of the worst organizations in football. But I believe that the Haslams are trying to win a Super Bowl. I believe that the Haslams are going all in. Last year, I believe that the Castellinis were going all in with the Reds. They go and get Moustakas and Castellanos, and they traded for Trevor Bauer. And the year before that, they go and get Sonny Gray. And I'm like, these mofos want to win. Mm-hmm. They don't just want to win some games, win more than they lose, and be interesting. No, they want to win. But I don't get how your mindset changes, Kev. How do one season you're like, we're going all in, and the next season's like, yeah, well, let's look at the future. Yes, you got to be cognizant of the future, but when your only thing you're worried about is the future, when does the now become a priority? And the Reds need to make now a priority.
So it's 30 teams in Major League Baseball, and the Reds fall like 15, 16, 17 in payroll. So where do you want them to be? Like, you want them to be cracking the top 10, top 5 in payroll? Is that what fans will want? Because I think when fans look at that, when you pay that type of money, you crack the top 5, they're expecting World Series championships. And it's been proven that you don't necessarily have to be top 5 in payroll to win championships. We talk about Trout all the time, about how he's the highest paid guy in baseball and arguably the best player in baseball, but the results of winning games don't translate. So where do fans want it to be?
So the payrolls, I'm looking at the worst payrolls in baseball last year. The Reds were the middle of the pack last year. Now you win that crown.
Hey guys,
proudly. So it's interesting. I'm looking at the 5 worst payrolls in baseball last year. 3 of the teams made the playoffs, Kev.
Right.
If the bottom 5 is Cleveland, Baltimore, Tampa, Miami, Pittsburgh. Cleveland made the playoffs. Tampa Bay made the playoffs. Miami made the playoffs. 3 of the worst 5 payrolls in baseball made the playoffs last year. The Reds spent double what those teams spent, barely made the playoffs, and barely even brought their offense with them to the playoffs. So, again, payroll's not everything, and it is, but you have to have a good scouting department. And let's be clear, I don't care what anybody says. The Reds scouting department's not that great. It's not that great. They get these, we see these top prospects, but we always see them kind of hit a certain ceiling where it's like they never seem to take that next step. And that's what's frustrating. You have guys in your system like Hunter Green and others who I'm like, what is their role moving forward? That's what Lodolo, again, who we got to interview last year at Reds Fest, and there's a lot of high expectations for him, a lefty coming in, a big, tall, Randy Johnson-looking dude. I'm not saying he's going to be Randy Johnson, but he's a guy that you would like to think is on the fast track to where maybe instead of spending big money on a pitcher, maybe that's what this is, hoping that a Lodolo all of a sudden on the fast track just clicks and it works. It worked with Mike, with Leak early in his career. He got called up right away. There was no bringing him up through the system. He was never a number 1, but he's a perfect back of the rotation guy. I don't know, but the bottom line is at least when you're spending money, you're telling your fans we're trying. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that could be a reality check and a depressing one of, oh man, we're spending money and look at the gap between us and everyone else. We're still behind everyone. There has to be a perfect balance of having a good farm system, spending just enough money to fill the gaps. That's what the Cubs did. When the Cubs were, in 2015, they weren't projected to be a playoff team. They made the playoffs. Their roster kind of took off running a little bit. They were kind of ahead of schedule. Then that offseason, that's when they went big and they added all these free agents to fill in the gaps between Chris Bryant and and they've always had their first baseman there. And of course, I'm drawing a blank on his name and it's driving me up the wall right now. I literally just said his name a bit ago. But the bottom line is the Cubs filled the gaps in free agency with what they developed at their other positions and as well as pitching. That's the way you got to do it. But the problem is, I'm looking at this Reds roster. Hardly any of these guys were developed. And the guys that are there that are the Reds players, you're looking at them saying, you got to move on from those guys. So catcher, they're still looking to figure out what they're going to do at catcher. Now, I don't know. I can go on for hours about the Reds, and I'm glad that we're getting back to that time of year where we're going to start focusing on that moving forward. But it's frustrating. I'm like, everyone's excited. Man, the Reds they're projected to win the division. Yeah, but it's like the tallest short person at that point. Who's actually winning that contest? If there's what I mean? Like if they put me in a room with a couple other short people like myself and I win the tallest person in the room, what did I really win there? That's kind of the Reds right now. What are you really winning, Reds? Go out there. It's not just winning a bad division. You got to be able to go out, yes, make the playoffs or winning your division, but what are you going to do when you get there? Do you have enough to win when you get there? And I feel like the Reds management's telling me as a fan, yeah, we're good enough to win our division, but that's where our goals stop. We're not looking to do anything after that. And that's a problem.
The Reds and the Cleveland baseball team are mirror images of each other. Both of them have good pitching staffs, but they don't have any bats in the lineup. You have to, the playoffs is about pitching, and you got to have some pitching. But you rack up all these wins against subpar teams because you have good pitching, and that's in the regular season. But when then you go up against the Yankees, and then in the Reds case, you go up against the Braves, who guys that can rake. You can't compete with that because all they need is one swing of the bat, and they're on the board. Neither one of those teams have one guy with one swing of the bat that can put numbers on the board.
Who?
The Reds or the Indians?
Well, to be fair, the Reds do. They statistically underperformed last year. To be fair, I'm not saying they're
I'm
the
just
best.
going off of what we saw last year.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I agree. That's what made last year so depressing is because I thought last year they had a good chance to make a playoff run because that offense was very good on paper, and we all know what that means on paper. They got the pitching. They had the best rotations and pitching staffs in baseball, but you didn't go spend all that money on Moustakas and Castellanos to put with the potential, home run king from the year before and Eugenio Suarez. You didn't go put all that together just to be the worst hitting team in baseball.
Right.
So that's why I always blame David Bell because of the construction of lineups and the way he used certain guys. But I interrupted you.
So do you think some of the pitching stats from the Reds were inflated because they do play the Pirates?
I mean, that's the same argument we make about, in every sport. We talk about the Steelers. Are they overrated? They got 4 guaranteed wins a year between the Bengals and Browns. How really good are they? We see that and to be honest, though, how good have the Cubs been? The Cubs have the Reds and the Pirates every year up until this past year where the Reds finally emerged onto the scene. I don't think it's inflated at all because I don't think the NL Central was bad last year. I thought it was a lot of competitive teams in there outside of the Pirates. Everyone else was contending to make a playoff spot between the Cubs, the Cardinals, and Reds. So no, I don't think that's what it is at all. Are you talking about from the pitching standpoint?
Yeah, from the pitching standpoint.
No, I think that pitch. I mean, Sonny Gray is legit. Luis Castillo is legit. Trevor Bauer is legit. So was Trevor Bauer facing better talent, in your opinion, with the Indians in the American League?
When he was there, yeah. But that's why I say they draw a parallel because I look at the way the Indians, the Cleveland baseball team, who they played. I mean, it was just not good. The Detroit Tigers are not good. The Cleveland baseball team is not good either. And I just think that they ate up on those teams and their stats just look totally different.
Oh, yes. Your division was like that where everyone was like, because Cleveland last year was looked at as, that was supposed to just be pick that roster apart. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like they're winning 90 games. Yeah. They're winning the division. You're like, well, how do you
can't pull the plug because you're winning so many games. But then when you go up against power hitting teams like the Yankees, then you're getting exposed, so to speak. Like, well, you're not facing these type of batters on a nightly basis. So I was asking you, do the Reds parallel because they play teams like the Pirates?
No, the NL Central is one of the best divisions in baseball. But last year, and this coming up year, that's not like the NL Central was not good last year. It was solid. It was competitive, but it wasn't great. This year, it's bad. The Cubs are not the Cubs that they've been for the last half decade.
Right.
The Pirates, like I joked earlier, I barely consider them an actual Major League Baseball team. And then the Cardinals, I can't put a finger on it. You always have to give them respect because that organization, no matter what, but last year, they didn't get the job done. So we'll see. We'll see, as we always like to say.
So we like to talk about how the season was cut in half basically last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to get a full baseball season this year. Do the Reds contend to make the playoffs this year with a full season without Bauer?
I think over time, I do believe the Reds would have been better off playing a full 162 last year. It might have hurt the pitching, but I think the hitting was going to eventually just take off, and it did. Hell, that's how the Reds made the playoffs. Let's be clear. Yeah. They were about to miss the playoffs. Their offense all of a sudden woke up. On top of that, the bullpen. It was a mix between the bullpen finally contributing in the lineup.
And you going on vacation.
And that's what it was, too. Which, of course, that's always a win for everybody. Everyone chalks that W in there when I go on vacation as far as that goes. But no, look. Reds, they're in good shape. Full 162. The Reds are in good shape for a full 162 with that lineup. The pitching is where I'm concerned about them being able to spread that out over a 162-game season. I don't think they have the depth to be able to do that. So who knows? The good news is right now, looks like spring training's supposed to start on time. Season's supposed to start on time. There is talk of fans, going to be allowed at games. I don't think we're going to see a sold-out GABP, but to be fair, I don't think when was that the expectation before COVID, to be honest with you? I don't know what the numbers would be as far as, allowance of fans into the stands this coming up season. If you had to guess, what's the average of the NBA, do you think, right now? Like the Cavs got 13,000.
I don't know. I have no idea, because you know what? Whenever I'm watching NBA games, the way they have the cameras set up, you don't see the fans,
and they're doing that purposely.
Yeah, because it looks crazy like that. But I think they learned a lot from watching Major League Baseball over the summer, like when they would pan to the outfield and no one's there. Looks very weird. I have no idea what the average fan attendance is in the NBA right now. I have no.
It ranges from team to team, state to state. Like the Cavs, they got a clearance to be able to increase their attendance by 5%. I think they're up to 10 or 15,000 now. Wow, that sounds high. Hold up, I'll look that up during the break. Bottom line is 3, 5, 10,000 fans at GBP, which isn't a lot, by the way. Because by the way, think about this. On average, you're seeing 20,000 fans at Great American Ballpark on an average game, and it looks empty in there. Mm-hmm. So 10,000 is not a lot. It's not going to look like a lot. Everyone's going to be dispersed and spread out. Every other row, right? Like I'd assume every other row, then you have your 3 or 4 seats of everyone crammed in. I don't know. We'll be back in a moment, folks. 457-9464. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Reds fans, I want to hear from you right now. Do you feel that the Reds are really trying to win this year, or do you feel like they're going to win by default just because they put a lot of work in last offseason? My frustration is that they have an opportunity here to not just go all in to win this division. I think they're good enough to win the division now as is, even with losing some key pieces. But I think that the lack of effort this offseason is not going to haunt them in the regular season. We're going to get to the point of the season we strive for. That's the postseason. And then we're going to be sitting there saying, what the hell, if only you would have made one more move, added one more bat, added one more position player, added one more piece to the bullpen, added one more guy to the rotation. I would really hate for the Reds to get to the playoffs and then I say, oh, man, we were this away. We were an extra hitter away. We were an extra batter away from being a contender in the playoffs. Oh, man, we were one starting pitcher away. We were one bullpen guy. I would really hate for us to get to that point and then all of a sudden us think back to this time right now here in mid-January and say, oh, yeah, I remember when we talked about how the Reds just kind of stayed put instead of going for the kill because they were content with winning a bad division, getting to the playoffs and having a quick exit. You did that last year. You had the quick exit last year. If you want to talk about progressing and moving forward, that should be the mindset of the ownership, and I hope that's the case. Reds fans, we'll open up the phone lines for you. 457-9464. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 34. Tonight's going to be mainly clear, a low around 28. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy and windy, a high near 44. I'm Pete Spyback for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? Yes. It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Sometimes the best time to prune trees is when they're dormant or with no leaves on them. For ISA certified arborists, it helps them see what branches may need to be pruned or removed. Dormant season pruning can also help lessen problems associated with insects and diseases, and help create structurally stronger trees that can better handle heavy wet snows or ice buildup. Contact an ISA certified arborist to get the best professional advice on keeping your trees healthy and safe. Go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Need legal help? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Have you heard about our new help center? It's located at the Montgomery County Courthouse, providing legal information and forms. And we also share programs and resources that may be available to you. Let us help you navigate the court system. Visit us online at courthouse2u.com for more info.
Did you know that upgrading your speakers can make the biggest difference in the sound of your stereo or home theater system? That's right. Change your speakers and improve your listening experience. Hi, this is Kirby with Audio Etc. And right now, all of our speakers are on sale. Audio Etc. features some of the best brands in the world, including Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Rebel, KLH, Martin Logan, and Bose. Audio Etc. is also proud to have been selected as one of 60 Klipsch dealers in the nation to carry the Klipsch legendary heritage lineup. So whether you're looking for the best or just looking for better than what you have, Audio Etc. has you covered. Visit our crazy cool showroom today and see why Audio Etc. has been the place to go for 35 years. Check out our complete selection of stereo and home theater equipment, projectors, and TVs as well. Quality product, knowledgeable staff, and unsurpassed service. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon and Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Come into Skyline today and kick it up a notch with andouille sausage conies made locally by Queen City Sausage at participating Skyline locations for a limited time. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up tonight.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
Upgrade to the wiper blades trusted by Rainer Zietlow to break world records. Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance that lasts 2 times longer than other blades. The new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are only available at Walmart.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. Ask or click for limited time offer. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese. Exclusions apply.
Every home needs a reliable thermometer for twice-a-day temperature readings. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used by hospitals, physicians, and clinics.
1410 ESPN Radio is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes on the hardwood. Football may be over, but basketball is just heating up. Support Chris Holtman and his Buckeyes as they battle it out in the toughest conference in all of college basketball, the Big Ten. Every dribble, every shot, every Buckeyes win. Catch it all right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Fire Harbaugh. Talking to you, Ravens. Michigan, you keep your guy. Your Harbaugh benefits us. Actually, this Harbaugh benefits us too. You know, the Ravens just beat the Browns twice this year, but it's not the point. So I guess John Harbaugh getting a little frustrated with the narrative that the Ravens are too run heavy. They are. He goes on to stress that the reason why I'm strong on this is because it goes back to the same criticism we've heard the last 3 years about not being the type of an offense or a type of quarterback that some people want to see. Harbaugh goes on to say that during his 45-minute end-of-season news conference, he goes on to say that there's just that they're just going to have to live with it because Lamar Jackson has won a lot of football games here, and our offense has won us a lot of football games, and we're not apologizing at that for a second. You know what? I'm reading this. I'm getting all fired up like, oh, yeah, well, you know, I kind of wish more coaches would do, even though I don't agree with what he's saying, Kev, I do wish more coaches would kind of take a little bit more, be a little bit more aggressive with the media saying, you know what, enough. Enough's enough. We've won a lot of games with Lamar, who's an MVP quarterback. We've been in the playoffs every damn year with them. You know, had we not made the playoffs, you'd be furious that we're not in the playoffs, but yet here we are. I don't mind it. My problem is there's some truth, and there's a lot of things I agree with and disagree with in this statement. That he forgets to mention in this that there's always room for growth. Mm-hmm. No one is saying that they don't like the running ability of Lamar Jackson. What they are saying is that there needs to be another element added to, and I'm not even saying necessarily his game, but this offense.
Absolutely.
I think the coach singled out Lamar a little bit too much in this situation. I think he's mainly responding to the singular criticism of Lamar not being able to throw the football, which I don't think he's a great thrower of the football. I know that, you know, in the offseason, you and I went back and forth and we looked at the touchdowns, and he was one of the best touchdown throwing quarterbacks in the NFL last season. This season took a step back, but it's not one of the best, slingers of the ball. But the thing is that because he's not capable of doing it because he seemed to be very more than capable of doing it when he was in Louisville, or is it because you have his number one receiver as the number two?
Mm-hmm. I think it's that. I think
it's more of that.
You have a 5'10 receiver, a small 5'10 receiver, and Hollywood Brown as his number one receiver. Let's not get him confused with his cousin, Antonio Brown, who's also 5'10, but Antonio Brown is like 190 pounds, as opposed to Hollywood Brown being 160 pounds.
And you had a chance to get him.
Yes.
On top of that.
And as big as a Dez Bryant fan as I am, he hadn't played football since 2017.
Yeah, if you're a team that has weapons, you do that. But if you're bringing him in to be a weapon, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that ain't it. See, this is the thing that I look at, especially with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens. Those two franchises always say, look, we're going to have a good defense. I don't care about anything else. We're going to have a good defense. And in turn, sometimes that bites you in the butt because you have all these great defensive players. So just like offensive players, defensive players need to get paid too. So in turn, you find yourself struggling to put weapons around them. Now, in Pittsburgh Steelers case, they have the weapons. The offensive line stinks. In the Ravens case, the offensive line is great. The weapons stink. It's look, man, both franchises need to figure out a way to scale back on defense a little bit and up the offense, because this is a scoring league. You have to be able to score points. The Chiefs defense was garbage last year. Forget it. They were garbage last year, but they got opportunistic stops. Stops when they needed them. And they won the Super Bowl because they were able to score points. You do not have to have the best defense in the league to win the Super Bowl. This ain't the Ravens back when Ray Lewis was man in the middle of the field. This ain't the Pittsburgh Steelers where you got Troy Polamalu back in the early 2000s. Look, man, you have to be able to score points, and neither one of those teams score points at a high enough clip to win Super Bowls. And the Pittsburgh Steelers problem is the run game and the offensive line. And the Ravens problem is they don't have enough weapons. And the one big time weapon you do have is 5'10" and 165 pounds and drops the ball. Like, he, as fast as Hollywood Brown is, as cool as it is that he gets open and catch all these bombs, he'll drop 2 out of 3 of them. And that's not going to get it done. So their main priority in the draft, find a receiver that can make plays down the field. That's a big body receiver, not a 33-year-old Dez Bryant who hadn't played football in 2.5 years.
And let's be clear, we've seen this style of quarterback play win games. Michael Vick did it with the Falcons when he was at his peak. Came back after going to prison, goes to the Eagles, came back with a more balanced offensive attack of making plays with his legs and his arm. And we saw the Eagles win with that, but we've never seen
John Jackson, McClellan, they had weapons.
They had weapons, but I think until you see that style, not just win a Super Bowl, but win with that style consistently is what people are, I think, are really asking for. And my thing is this. Just because Lamar is capable of winning you games with his legs doesn't mean that that's the approach that you should take. And what I mean by that is it doesn't mean you change who Lamar is, but you need to make sure you're giving him options.
Right.
Okay, options, which means you give him the opportunity to throw the football, and when that play breaks down, then that's when you unleash Lamar.
Yes.
Then you call certain plays to unleash Lamar.
Right.
But to sit there and not give him weapons on the offensive side and then just have him drop back and say, all right, Lamar, do something, it's going to be put on Lamar, but it's not on Lamar. It's on coaching. Like, I'm telling you.
It's on coaching and front office. It's coaching and GM. It both play a role in that because the GM, those are the people that picks the players, that gives the coach the weapons to go out there and coach on the field. So I'm not going to put it all on Harbaugh. A lot of this stuff goes on the management too. Like, y'all got to do y'all part too. Like how we talk about with Deshaun Watson and them taking weapons from him. That's on coaching and front office. I can't put it on one thing. Like, and I'm the biggest Lamar fan out there, man, but I can't front and say like, oh man, if it wasn't for this, they would have beat Buffalo. No, he was bad. He was real bad. And then when they had a chance to tie it up, interception in the end zone, his first red zone interception of his career, and it gets taken back for a pick six.
100+ yards.
Yeah, and that's lights out. And then when he does get back in the game, he is concussed. And the funny thing about it is everybody talks about like, oh, man, him running like that, that's where he's going to get hurt. Well, he got hurt inside the pocket.
Yeah, and let's be clear, the Ravens were, believe it or not, the worst passing team in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last thing I read was like the worst offense that they've had since 2000 is the worst passing offensive team since 2003. Harbaugh goes on to explain that the lack of passing yards is the result of building the best run offense in the history of football the last 2 years. You need to be building a Super Bowl team, not building like that's great. That what the best thing about Lamar Jackson is what he brings to the table and that not other quarterbacks can do.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you take that and only try to win with that. That's like an escape valve that I think that, when Patrick Mahomes gets hurried, when Baker Mayfield or Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, when they get hurried, guess what they can't do? They can't run like a bat out of hell and outrun every defender on that field. Lamar can, but it doesn't mean that you should turn it into a foot race every single time he steps foot out on the field. I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. I've been saying this from the beginning, and I don't care. Eric Bieniemy, we need to stop. Eric Bieniemy, don't go to the damn Texans, even if Deshaun Watson's there. No, Eric Bieniemy, you're not going to win with the Texans. And then when you don't win with the Texans, it's going to be, see, Eric Bieniemy's not a good coach. No, it's because it's not a good situation. You might have the quarterback, but you don't have cap space. You don't have a good organization. You wouldn't be working for a good organization. And let's be clear, African-American coaches have to be careful with the jobs that they take because Keith Byers asked this earlier. How many second chances are African-American coaches getting? Zach Taylor, he has the balls to take a Bengals job because he knows that even if he fails, there's going to be some stupid-ass organization out there that's going to give him a second chance. But Eric Bieniemy, who we know is going to be a good coach, is going to take over a team that loses, and then we're going to say, sorry, see you. I knew you couldn't coach. Go back to being the coordinator, and I'll never understand it. Eric Bieniemy has to be selective with the job that he takes, which is why I do think that I'm switching gears slightly here. I do think he has to be selective with the job that he takes, mainly because if you take a horrible situation that you can't win in, Guess what? It's not going to be because, the owners aren't going to say they're the problem.
Right.
Owners never say that they're the problem. Mike Brown will never say he's the problem in Cincinnati. All right. You look at the ownership with the Texans. They'll never say, all right, you know what? We lost a lot of games, Bill O'Brien, but that's our fault, not yours. But owners will never say they're the problem, folks. You and your regular everyday jobs. Your bosses will never say they're the problem, right? That's how life works. So you got to be very selective in the job that you take. And to me, Eric Bieniemy, the Ravens job is the one I would take. Not that it's open or available, but damn it, if I'm the Ravens behind closed doors, behind the scenes, I'm at least putting out feelers to Bieniemy saying, well, what did you think about coming over here to build a power? You'd have the defense. You'd have one of the best, most electrifying quarterbacks in the league in Lamar Jackson. You would have the fans would buy in. As a Browns fan, I would hate it. You would hate it. Bengals fans would hate it. But I'm telling you right now, Eric Bieniemy, the job that is the best job for him, and that includes any job out there, it's this one, the Ravens. I hope it comes up for him. But after hearing this from Harbaugh, if you're the Ravens ownership, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're just going to keep throwing this out every year. Because what Harbaugh's saying right now is that screw you guys, everyone who's criticizing this, we're doing this. This is how we're going to do it. You're right. Harbaugh's right. Lamar's going to win a lot of games, Kev, but he's not going to win that way in the playoff. And I shouldn't say Lamar, but the Ravens aren't going to win with that approach in the playoffs. You're just not. I don't care if they got the first playoff win and Lamar's run there. Stop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the Baker Mayfield situation is more appeasing moving forward as far as playoff success than Lamar Jackson's, in my opinion. And that includes Lamar, who has a shutdown defense. All I'm saying is I would love to see a wrinkle with that offense. If I'm the ownership and I see Harbaugh making these statements saying that they're just going to have to live with it because Lamar Jackson has won a lot of football games here. We've seen a lot of guys. I mean, if that's the case, then, the Houston Rockets should have said, hey, stop criticizing James Harden. We win a lot of basketball games here. It doesn't work that way. You want to be looked at as a great. You have to have those expectations of winning in the postseason and taking your team to that next level. Not all of it should be on Lamar Jackson. But unfortunately, Kev,
quarterback position,
he's going to get blamed, not Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not getting blamed. I don't get how no pressure's on him. I feel bad ripping Lamar Jackson when he's only doing what the coach is telling him to do. But Lamar's going to be the one that gets screwed over in this situation, not Harbaugh, Kev.
So I'm looking at the coaches' openings, and like you said, Texans are still open, and that's the only opening, right? No, Eagles. I'm sorry. Eagles and the Texans. So all the other coaching vacancies have been filled, but I'm looking at teams that were looking to, so many rumors about them firing their coach with the Bears, with Matt Nagy and everything going on with the Denver Broncos and Vic Fangio and everything like that. Like, obviously, the name that, you and I and everybody else and their mom bring up is Eric Bieniemy. But who's the other guy out there? Who's the other coach and candidate out there? Because, like you said, Eric Bieniemy, let's say these are the only two openings, Philadelphia and Houston. He's not going to either of those places. He's smarter than that. Andy Reid used to coach in Philly. He going to talk to Andy Reid. So, hey, man, what's up with Jeff Lurie and how they run things? He's going to give him the 4-1-1, and he probably ain't going to take it. And that madhouse that they got going on there with the Wentz and Jalen Hurts situation, the locker room flipping on them. I mean, shoot, they fired a head coach that won a Super Bowl. So you want to jump into that situation?
Who, by the way, there's a statue of that coach outside that stadium. They literally just put a statue of him up outside that stadium.
Ouch.
And they just fired. Like, that's how cutthroat that is. Vincent Waller on Facebook says the Ravens would be dumb to fire Harbaugh. They have consistently been a playoff team under him and have a Super Bowl. He wouldn't be out of a head coaching job very long if they got rid of him. That part I agree. Vincent, first of all, I agree with everything you said right there as far as the Ravens being a consistent playoff team with him. But keep in mind, like, we see this in the NBA and even Major League Baseball. We see it all over the place. Marvin Lewis consistently had the Bengals in the playoffs, and they bid farewell to him. The Reds, Dusty Baker, consistently in the playoffs. They moved on from him. We see it in the NBA all the time. Yes, for non-playoff teams, playoffs should be what matters. But then there's the playoff teams so when you're a non-playoff team, you're aspiring to be a playoff team. When you're a playoff team, you're aspiring to be a championship team.
Right.
And I think that it comes to a certain point where, yes, the Ravens are regularly in the playoffs. And I think that eventually you got to look at them and say, okay, but you can't just make the playoffs every year and then not try to do. But that was my criticism of the Reds earlier in the show when I said, okay, you made the playoffs last year. You were a first-round exit. What are you doing now to take the team that was a first-round exit and make sure that they're not a first-round exit again? And the Reds aren't. They're actually worse than they were a year ago. The Ravens, what are you doing to be better in 2021? Because Harbaugh just said, well, screw it. We won a lot of games this way. We're not going to stop doing it this way. You put up 3 points.
Yeah.
You lost a game in which your defense only gave up 10 points. That's a problem. So
that pick six was lights out. Pick six, lights out. It's the start of the fourth quarter. They're up 17-3. The way you finally got inside the red zone and you throw a pick six, you're not winning that game because it took you basically 4 quarters to get into striking distance to score the football. And that's all because, I mean, as much as I love the ground and pound style, you still have to be able to air the ball out. And without weapons to air the ball out, there's a problem. So I don't know if it's the head coach. Maybe it's a philosophy change that needs to go on. Maybe they need to find, a quote unquote young and upcoming offensive mind. We hear that term all the time. Maybe that's something that needs to go on. I just don't know. I know that Harbaugh is a good head coach. Obviously, we talked about the Super Bowls and everything like that. But you're right. I mean, there's something that has to be changed. It can't just keep on banging your head against the wall and say, like, nope, this is how we're going to do it. Nope, this is how we're going to do it. I don't care. We're going to run the ball 100 times anyway. Like, it's great that Lamar can do those explosive things with his legs. And, I mean, obviously, on those 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, you'd be a fool not to pull out a zone read because he's so athletic, because he can give it. You can get the 1 yard with Dobbins, and he can take it around the edge and get the 1 yard. But the problem is the other downs. Is real hit or miss. Like, it's either Lamar is completing a deep ball for a chunk of yards, or it's a screen pass. You have to do a better job of if it's developing Lamar as a quarterback, an overall full quarterback, or you need to change up the flow.
Yep, and that's where Bieniemy comes into play here. By the way, if the Ravens get an explosive offensive passing attack with his playmaking ability with his legs, I don't care how good Patrick Mahomes is, Lamar will be head and shoulders above that as far as if you ask defenses, if Lamar all of a sudden develops this great passing game, Patrick Mahomes or Lamar, who are you dreading facing the most? I guarantee you every defense will say Lamar. I'm dreading playing Lamar over Patrick Mahomes, and that's how good Lamar could be if they develop a passing game with him. Can they do it? That's going to be key. But if you're a Ravens fan, you hear that, expect the same Ravens team next year as you did this, which, again, as Harbaugh said, you're going to win games, but don't expect anything more than that. All right, I have a chance for you to win $10,000 coming up on the other side of the break. Every hour we give you, or actually I'll do it now. How about we just do it now? Should we just do it now?
Do it live!
All right. A chance to win $10,000. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. Head to wingam.com, wingam.com, wingam.com. Enter the winning word SHARP. Enter the winning word SHARP at wingam.com for your chance to win $10,000. Again, it's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. Enter the winning word SHARP at wingam.com. He's Kev Nash. I'm Justin Kinner. We'll open up the phone lines again at 457-9464. One thing we looked at, too. So you did look at the Cavaliers' attendance capacity, because I want fans to be thinking about this. The 19,000 for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
19,432 is the capacity.
The amount of tickets that are being sold for the Cavs games are like 1,000,000% lower than that. Like, it's insane. And I'm curious that, okay, Reds fans, if they do announce that, hey, we're going to allow 20,000 fans at Great American Ballpark, of those 20,000 available seats per night, how many of those seats are going to be full? Because the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you are an NBA fan in Cleveland, every night there's 19,000 fans that can attend these games. We're going to tell you the beyond embarrassingly low total of fans who are attending these games and discuss why is that number so low? Why are we not seeing fans take advantage of the opportunity to go to games when there actually is an opportunity to go to games, something that we didn't have all of last year? And can we expect to see a lot of fans attend baseball games this coming up this spring and summer? We'll get to that on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Enter, by the way, one more time, the winning word SHARP at wingam.com. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. Hour 3 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City, Ohio is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which include flexible schedules, career growth opportunities, best-in-class benefits, and competitive starting wages. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Search distribution and enter Tip City. Once again, call 937-669-9109 for an interview. We look forward to you joining the team at Meyer. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? 15 or 25%? How about 40%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe.
See just how much you can save when you bundle. In the Springfield and surrounding area, call me, Dave Mowdy, at 325-2474, right across the street from Frisch's on East Main Street.
Savings vary based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
All right, sports fans, we may not agree on a lot, but what we can agree on is that we would all love a $10,000 payday. Well, great news. Now is your shot. All you have to do is listen every hour, weekdays starting at 7 a.m. for the winning word and enter it at wingam.com. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. Visit wingam.com for more info.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package. We'll change the oil and filter, rotate the tires, check the brakes, test the battery, and check all the fluids and filters. Still starting at just $39.95. And ask us about our double take tire specials. Goodyear, Michelin, BF Goodrich, Kelly, and other quality tires. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Kyrie Irving making his return to Cleveland tonight. In fact, it's ironic. I don't think Kyrie has played in Cleveland since leaving Cleveland. He always has a mysterious illness or something going on. I don't know what it is about him not ever wanting to return. Like every time they've had to play at Boston, he mysteriously doesn't want to play against Boston. He doesn't want to play against the Cavs. I believe the Lakers matchup from last season, he sat out both of those, didn't go up against LeBron. That stuff's annoying, man. Anyways. So Kyrie Irving addressed the media and said that he just needed a pause. Right. And again, trying to make it sound as if the media was out to vilify him. And he's still doing the deflecting thing. And the thing that drives me nuts is I don't think any media out there, Kev, including you and I in our little small media bubble over here, no one has ever ripped the work that he is doing off the floor. In fact, because of his attitude, as we discussed last week, it's hard to praise him for the great stuff that he's doing off the floor because he has become such a distraction because he's not there. And it's not that people are mad that he's not there because he's out doing that. It's because he's not there and we don't know what's going on. He doesn't talk about it. He just paid for a home for George Floyd's family. Mm-hmm. And instead of people being able to praise him for that and give him credit, we're more focused on, what's going on behind the scenes, man? You're gonna be a distraction when you return. We should be talking about how this is the big three, and the headline heading into this is maybe Kevin Durant and James Harden are better off without him. And by the way, they look really, really, really good without him. I mean, I wouldn't try. My thing with Kyrie is the Nets might be better off if he starts to be a distraction moving forward. Kev, the Nets are better off just moving on from him altogether, even if they don't get anything in return, because trying to force him on the team because you're paying him a lot of money can cost you a championship. Sure, you might eat a lot of money by moving on from him, but if it means them getting to the finals and winning a title without him, to me, I say you're basically spending $30 million on an NBA championship, which is worth it to me. Now, we'll see. He's making his debut with the new Big Three tonight in Cleveland, by the way. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the one storyline I'm most interested in looking. But how about James Harden averaging 30 points a game since joining the Nets? And for a fat Y ball looking dude, he's getting the job done. You know what I'm talking about, like the Y, the fat out of shape guy just continued to step out there. Yeah.
Buckets is buckets, no matter your size, man, no matter anything. The Kyrie thing is so frustrating. And being a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, this is something I've seen and known about for a long time. He is a difficult person. And like you just said, man, the things that he's doing in the community, the things that he's doing to help the WNBA, like all these great things he's doing gets overlooked because of the other stuff, because of the antics, because of how he is. Look, man, I've said this a million times and I'll say it a million more times, man. Being an individual is a great thing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should be just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You talk about how you like doing this show with me because we rarely agree, and that's fine.
Ain't that the damn truth?
that is perfectly fine for him to have certain feelings and have certain viewpoints. That's great. But when you don't communicate with your head coach, your general manager, your own agent, that is a problem. That is a major problem. And to try to deflect it and put the ownership on the media, that's just wrong. The media is partially responsible for you earning the dollars that you earn. And I'm not a person that likes to talk about how much money these guys make and all that type of stuff. I feel that they earn it. But the media plays a role in the way you are able to be covered, to be able to be a national brand, to be the guy that you are. And if you don't give them any stories to put out in a positive light, they have no recourse but to only put out what they deem is the truth. They put out their own version of the truth because you won't give them the truth. You won't give them your version of the truth. You won't give them yourself. You let us come up with our own conclusions because you're so trapped inside your own bubble.
Yeah, when you let us fill in the holes, I promise you what we fill the holes in with is usually a lot worse than what the actual truth is to begin with.
Right. And every media person out here is saying the exact same thing. They're commending him for all the great things that he's doing. But it always comes back to, well, wish we'd have known about it because, we would be talking about that. I wish you would come and play basketball because we'll be talking about the basketball and the great things. But the the good stuff gets overlooked because you're not doing your job. And as much as he wants to, say like, well, that's my personal business. Look, man, it is 2021, man. When you are a star, and you know this, when you're a star in this league and in professional sports, you have no life. Your personal life belongs to everybody. And you giving of yourself in the way that he is with his time and his money, you need to be doing that same thing with your teammates and your organization. You can't just pull aloof and just say, I need to take some personal time and not tell anybody. If you need to take personal time, just let them know. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, and this was his response to the media earlier. And, of course, he's getting picked apart for this because, again, he's going to say, I'm back. I'm happy to be back. We got some great pieces, and we just need to move on. And I let my actions in my game speak for itself like I planned on doing from the beginning. Just needed a pause. No, you don't. I mean, yes, you have to move on. You have no choice. But that's his entitled opinion of, I can act however the hell I want because we're just going to move on. Because he knows that his team has no choice but to just move on because the team now is in a position where if they make it anything more than what it already is, then he's just going to be the victim in all this. And he's going to point at them and say, hey, look, I'm just over here helping charity and you guys are pissed. You want to help, are you mad that I'm helping people in need? Or so that's where the entitlement on his part of, hey, we just need to move on. No, we don't just need to move on. You're probably going to move on because at the end of the day, winning is all that matters and winning fixes a lot of things. But let's be clear, because there's enough of a pattern here to show that moving on could be a problem for Kyrie if this leads to losses.
Right.
If Kevin Durant and James Harden don't mesh on the floor because of him, when we've already seen a few games with those two that they look unstoppable, I'm sorry, but this chapter isn't done yet. A finals appearance is not guaranteed for this team because as long as they have the self-destruction button on that roster being Kyrie, I wouldn't put a damn dime on this team making it to the finals. I'm just saying. However, James Harden, Kevin Durant versus LeBron and Anthony Davis, that is a dream finals matchup right there because for the first time in a long time, you don't know who's going to win this NBA finals. I can't tell you we knew the Lakers were going to win. We knew that there was going to be a fight put up by the Heat, but we knew the Lakers were going to win it. And before that, we knew that it was always going to be the Warriors. I know the Raptors were able to squeak one in there due to injuries, and we can debate that later. But the bottom line is there has not been a finals where we have headed into it saying, I have no clue who the hell's going to win this thing. In fact, I think that's why this past decade of the NBA has kind of hurt the sport because we already know who's going to win it heading in. This would be the first time in a long time, I can't remember, where we don't already know who's going to win. It doesn't always mean that team has won, by the way, because the Heat lost to the Mavericks in a series that was supposed to be the crowning moment of LeBron's championship run with Miami. But I would say from the time LeBron went to Miami until now, we have not had a finals where we're like, oh man, this can go either way. Right. We have always known who the winner is going to be. But people who say that kills the sport, it hasn't killed the sport, but I think it is better for the sport to have two teams you have no clue who's going to come out on top. That's what's going to be good. The only thing that'll keep that from happening, Kyrie. And I'm hoping we're wrong, but I brought Kyrie up because he is making his return to Cleveland tonight. And we were talking about, when we were talking baseball a little bit ago about there's going to be fans allowed at the games this year, which is awesome. And I'm curious how many people are going to take advantage of that and actually attend games at Great American Ballpark this year. You bet your ass I'm going to be masked up and right there watching as many games as I can. I mean, I miss Great American Ballpark. I miss baseball. But I'm amazed at, Kev, you looked up the amount of fans that are allowed at a Cavaliers game versus how many fans who actually have been attending. Right. And we are talking thousands and thousands and thousands of fans are not attending games that could be. 19,000, you said, correct?
So the capacity is 19,432. The attendance for the last game where the Cavs beat the Knicks, it was just over 1,944.
You Flyer fans, what the hell, man? You call yourself fans.
So I'm reading this, and in the state of Ohio, they're allowed 10% capacity. So this is just at 10% capacity for the Cavs. So yes, they basically sold out tickets.
Oh, so they did sell out. I thought you said 19,000 was
the capacity of the arena.
Okay.
The total capacity for the arena is 19,000, and they are allowed to have 10% capacity. for their full capacity.
So they can have 19,000 fans at games.
No, they can have the whole arena.
Oh,
is
having
19
flashbacks of Michael Scott. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
the whole arena can fit 19,000 people.
Oh, okay.
But they can only have 10% of
well, guys, I apologize. My T's just, screw it. I thought you said 19,000 fans could attend and only 2,000 were attending. But how many are attending? You said about 3,000. That's about what is allowed to go. Who cares? I'm done. Forget it. Jesus, Kenner. I swear. Anyways, my point is, so I'm looking at tickets for tonight and I thought about it. I'm like, well, what would keep fans from going to these games if they could? Tickets are as low as $51 tonight, Kev. For 50, I feel like that's low, right?
Definitely low. Very low. I mean, think about it. Is the Nets, is Kevin Durant, is Kyrie Irving, is James Harden, and the Cavs ain't horrible.
Okay, but so here's where it gets interesting. So in section 118, what do they even call the Cavs arena now? Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse?
Mortgage, yeah.
That's boring. I like the Q, man. From the Q. Like that. That's
what I grew up with.
The Q. So section 118 for 2 tickets. You can get 2 tickets for $4,400.
I don't want to see them that bad.
No, I mean, UD's, they're sitting there saying we need to raise our prices. All the season ticket holders are, anyways. But no, section 215, you can get a ticket for $54 each. That ain't bad. You're sitting way up top. I've been to games at the Q and I've had to sit way up top. Is what it is. But $54 to go to an NBA game is not bad. I'm telling you right now, but you're not getting anything close. But see, this isn't bad. Section 122, C122, you're in the middle tier, not the lower bowl, but the middle tier. $170 for a ticket. That's a lot of money. For me personally, and I think it's because I've been spoiled by being able to attend games and sporting events by taking advantage of a media pass here and there, but I can't spend money on tickets anymore. Like I really have a hard time paying for tickets. It frustrates me.
I'm that way with concerts.
With concerts, see, I don't go to concerts. I'm awkward at concerts. I stand there awkward. I'm like, do I dance? Do I snap my fingers? Do I clap? What do I do? I'm like, I need a drink. I need to be holding something so I am not expected to move. It's uncomfortable. But 170 is not terrible. Looking at this section, 156, we're talking 265, way up top, 77. But the highest ticket I've seen, section 118 is the one where the tickets are $2,000 each.
But don't you go to games for the atmosphere? Like, I couldn't imagine going to a game right now. Like, I don't care if it's LeBron coming to the Cavs. I'm not going. Like, I want to be a part of the atmosphere, the boo and cheer and the root on my team and everything like that. That atmosphere isn't going to be there right now.
I'm with you because, for one, like UD Arena, one of the best college basketball atmospheres in the country. There's no doubt about it. Let's say that I think they have like 300 fans that can go now, and that's nothing. You're not from an atmosphere standpoint. That's not even touching. Right. That's not doing anything. That's just fans who just want to at least say that they're there and that they've been there and that they're taking in the game. But I promise you, and UD fans, for those of you who have gone to the game, for those of you who have gone to a Flyers game, and with the 300 fans or whatever the number is, it's nothing. There's no atmosphere. You're not enjoying yourself. Let's be honest. I know some of you are saying, I'm just grateful to be able to attend a Dayton Flyers game. But when you get there, how many of you are saying, oh, this just sucks? Sometimes it's not about your ticket at the game that makes it worth it. It's everyone else's ticket that makes it worth it. The atmosphere is unbelievable. I'm glad you brought that up because the people around you are what make what you're watching much more enjoyable than just the ticket that you have and the people that you're watching. Yeah. The 300 fans that go to Flyers games, I guarantee you're not having a blast there. I don't care how comfortable your cushioned little remodeled seat is. I don't care about how good your overpriced beer tastes. I don't care about any of that. Which, by the way, the best thing at this game is Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Shout out to Chicken Chuck. Just wanted to give him a shout out on the year. That you could enjoy that. That's what makes it enjoyable. But I'm telling you, what makes the Flyer game so great, it's not the padded seats, it's not the redesigned scoreboard, it's not all the great pictures commemorating the history of the program around the concourse. It's the 13,000 screaming freaking fans that make that place electric. That's what makes it great. So I'm with you. I'm not going to spend $4,000 on tickets to go sit in a less than half empty stadium and just awkwardly hear a ball dribble and hear players yell at one another. That ain't cutting it for me. I'm with you on that.
I'm with you 100%. I went to the Ohio State game where they beat Wisconsin with Cardale at the helm, and it was one of the best games I've ever been to in my life. The atmosphere with so many Buckeye fans there, and the Wisconsin fans started leaving at halftime because I believe it was like 30-0 at that point. And just, basking in the glory of seeing your Buckeyes kick the snot out of a team and high-fiving people you've never seen a day in your life and probably won't ever see again, buying each other beers. That's a part of the game. That's a part of going to a sporting event. And right now, without the capability of doing that and chumming it up with people and just shooting the stuff with people, I don't want any parts of it. I'd rather be at home sitting on the couch watching the game, to be perfectly honest.
I will take a ticket to a college basketball game over an NBA game any day, and I love the NBA. But that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Josh Nichols on Facebook. We'll get to the phones in just a second. He says Kyrie will go out and drop 25 and 10 tonight. It doesn't matter about his distractions. You can get away with these things because of how much of a joke the NBA regular season is.
Well, a lot of those things are empty stats. Like, you can talk about Kyrie and he's going to drop 25 and 10, but does Kyrie Irving's stats actually equate to wins and losses when it really matters? Because we saw Kyrie Irving as a rookie and as a second-year player and as a third-year player with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and none of that equated to win.
Yep.
None of those 20 and 10 nights that he did with the Boston Celtics really equated to winning. And last season with the Nets, none of that equated to winning. He's a very talented basketball player, no doubt about it. But those are empty stats unless it equates to winning. When Kevin Durant drops 20 and 10, they win. When LeBron James drops 20 and 10, they win. So we can talk about how cool Kyrie's shoes are. We can talk about how great his handle is and how much of a talented basketball player he is. But until he actually starts equating to winning, I'm straight.
Yeah, Waller on Facebook says Kyrie's like Terrell Owens, super talented, but a headache to deal with most of the time. I like that comparison, except I will say that T.O. was better at his position than what Kyrie is at his.
Absolutely.
Like, I think that T.O., if you had to tell which one of those two is more worth it to deal with T.O. in a heartbeat. I mean, I'll take T.O.'s distractions any day. I'll take T.O.'s sit-up contest in his driveway over, Kyrie disappearing the way that he does. All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. 457-9464. Let's go to Chris. Chris, thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
I just picked up on what was going on, and like you just said with T.O., I agree with that because at least T.O. was passionate about his team.
Yep. And you never questioned his desire to win. He just frustrated you because he made it a little bit too much about him, but you never questioned his desire to win.
Oh, I agree. Now, with Kyrie, though, he's smart to a degree, but he's also dumb because of the way that he manipulates it all to where he's still coming out ahead. But literally what he's doing is he's burning bridges all the way around. And he's turning it into a situation where he's just not going to have anywhere to go. Doesn't matter how talented you are. If you burn your bridges with anybody, it's going to be that way. Eventually, the owners and GMs are going to be like, hey, is it really worth it? And
I'll tell you, when you talk about is it worth it, if he can't make this work, he won a title with LeBron, I get it, but he tried to be the guy in Boston. He took an up-and-coming roster, made them worse, and then when he disappeared, they were better. Last year with the Nets, no Kevin Durant. That was the expectation going in. He was healing from an injury, but the Nets were worse with Kyrie on the floor than without. And then this year, right now, James Harden and Kevin Durant, they already look good enough to take the Nets to the finals without him. And if he gets thrown in and they start losing or just don't look as in sync, I'm telling you right now, the Nets are better off without him. But again, we've got to give him a shot to see how they can make this thing work. But the common denominator in all the teams that have struggled with him on the floor is him. He's the common denominator.
I agree with that. And there's a quote out there, and I'm paraphrasing it, but it takes a great leader can take a somewhat mediocre team and make them great, and a bad leader can take a good team, a great team, and make them horrible. And with his talent, he has that ability to be that leader, and he's not doing But one thing that I did want to touch on that I heard you guys say, the atmosphere, that's the truth. My fiance wanted to buy me tickets to the Browns and Steelers game, the final game of the season. And she kept saying, well, this could mean something. And yes, you were appealing to me as a Browns fan. Yes, it could mean something. I agree with you. But I told her, I'm like, you're a football fan. You're a Colts fan. I was like, you need to go there when there's 73,000 people barking. Because those people that you are with, and it's like that at Flyers games. It's like that at Buckeyes games, no matter where you go. The people that if you're in a home stadium of rooting for that team, those people around you become like family for that 3-hour period.
No, can you imagine
random people you've never met are just like, hey, what's up? Yeah, blah, blah. Slapping hands and everything else. It turns into a great environment.
Let me ask you this. So did you accept the tickets? You said your fiance, your wife, who'd you say?
My fiance.
So did you accept the tickets?
No, I did not, because I told her that I was trying to be smart. We didn't have the money. She was going to pay about $500 for 2 tickets.
Well, let me be clear.
And we're trying to move out and get our own place. And I was like, I want to go for the atmosphere. I want to go under the right pretenses and everything else. And it wouldn't have been the same. Even with the Browns winning and it going to the playoffs and everything like that, it still wouldn't have been the same. I mean, Stefanski said it himself. The only thing that's missing is you guys.
Well, imagine that place when that clock hit 0 and they beat the Steelers 22-20 and they punched their ticket to the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. Can you imagine?
It would have been insane.
I got goosebumps thinking about it.
So did I. I was rooting from my television. I mean, I was pacing the whole game against
the backup, so the Steelers, right?
That one too.
Yeah.
As a Browns fan, you pace constantly. She was asking me, she's like, when they were beating Pittsburgh in the playoff game, she's like, they're up 35-10. What are you so nervous about? You don't understand. A couple of years ago, we were up. We kicked field goals, had six sacks on Ben Roethlisberger and 4 turnovers, and still lost the game. You got to understand. It's a Browns thing.
Yeah, but anything's possible. That's for them. Hey, Jeff, thanks so much for the call. We appreciate your contributions, man. You take care.
Have a good night, guys.
No, but he's right, man. The atmosphere matters. The atmosphere, you're paying for an experience.
Yeah.
You're paying for an experience. You're not just paying to watch the players. That's part of it. Yes.
Right.
That's what the players also don't understand is too. They think that, everyone's taking advantage of them. And I can get that to a certain extent, but if it's not for the fans paying the tickets to go watch you're not making those millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
Because the sport itself, people are paying to go watch the sport, but there's a reason that sport doesn't thrive at every level. All right. The G League isn't having sellouts. Right? It's not, the stars matter, yes, but the fans matter. If the fans aren't there, it doesn't matter how many stars are out on the floor, as far as that goes. But yeah, I'm telling you, paying that much money to go to a game where you can't even take in the full experience, it's not enough, man. It's not enough. All right, 457-9464. We'll continue with your calls on the other side of the break. But yeah, I like that last caller, the point he made. It wasn't even, the Browns are going to clinch a playoff berth for the first time in 18 years in that Week 17 matchup against the Steelers. His fiance said for Christmas or whatever it was, the occasion, was going to buy him tickets to the Steelers and the Browns game so he could witness his team punch their ticket to the playoffs and end the near 2-decade drought. He said, no, I'm good. It's a lot of money for an atmosphere that is not what it should be. And that's basically what this comes down to is right now. It's man, these ticket prices, you could go to games. You could pay money to go to games. But just watching the athletes isn't enough. You didn't realize how the person sitting next to you actually makes it. By the way, I hate sitting next to people. For Reds games, when Reds tickets are cheap, if I could find tickets for $10, I'll spend $40 on 4 tickets so Nora and I could sit in the middle and have a seat open on each side of us so I don't have to sit by people. I can't stand people.
Good to know.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back in a moment.
You must be a joy on an airplane.
No, I usually sit by her on an airplane. We're good. I don't like, Oh, man, you're right. No, because that's where you get the app. You get to pick your seat. You're good. So there's that. Anyways, all right. Tyler Shorty on Facebook says, I wouldn't spend $500 to go see the Super Bowl this year, let alone a regular season game.
No way.
I'm with you. All right. What?
I was thinking who's performing at halftime.
I have no idea.
Janet Jackson episode.
You see who sang at the inauguration today? J-Lo was there.
J-Lo was there. No, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she had this Hunger Games vibe going with her little outfit. But anyways,
stick to sports.
What? I'm just what?
Brought to the inauguration, man.
Oh, you're right. My bad. We'll be back in a moment.
listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 34. Tonight's going to be mainly clear, a low around 28. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy and windy, a high near 44. I'm Pete Spy back for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late. And that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
The thing about comparing rates at Progressive.com is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about comparing rates at Progressive.com. We probably don't even need the words comparing rates anymore to remind you that seasoning steaks at Progressive.com is an easy way to save on car insurance, or that swimming in trousers helps you find the lowest rate. And that's the thing about foraging for truffles. You've heard a lot of ads about standing tiptoe on a cinder block. Compare rates and sing softly to a wounded field mouse and save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, the tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
You know, this has been a really challenging year for everyone in Dayton. As the economy turns around and more people get out, accidents will begin to happen. If you've been injured in an accident, my team of attorneys, Blake Maisland, we are here for you. 444-4444. Colder temperatures and the wet stuff are on the way, and it can often make for hazardous driving. And just remember, 444-4444. If you get hurt, if you get into an accident, we're always here for you 24/7. Call the law offices of Blake Maisland, 444-4444. Or look us up on the web at wantmore.com.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes. A $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody or apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Call It Propane has been serving the Buckeye Nation in the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Let our family help protect your family from old man winter. Find out why 98% of our customers would recommend us to friends and family. Ask about the service options at 937-372-9194.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Call It Propane and Call It Seal Coating are proud to serve the Buckeye Nation.
The Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares Sweepstakes is back. It's the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever with millions of dollars in prizes. And best of all, it's free to enter. every score change, someone wins $50,000. Just enter for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com, and it could be you. Touchdowns, field goals, safeties, extra points. Every single score change will draw one lucky winner from the square to win $50,000. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. One way to enter, 2 ways to win. See rules and enter for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune into the Super Bowl on February 7th to see if you bring home some dough. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 55.
No purchase necessary. Legal residence of 50 U.S. and D.C. of age of majority. Ends 2/4/2021, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities as defined in the official rules is not offered to sponsor this promotion in any way.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live, or go back and rewatch previous episodes of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, the Keith Meyer Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Meyer Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Another chance for you to win $10,000. It's our 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. Head to wingam.com and enter the winning word BRIGHT. BRIGHT. Enter the winning word BRIGHT at wingam.com. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. Be listening every hour for the winning word that you will then take to wingam.com and enter for your chance to win $10,000. Cav, let's go to the phones. 457-9464. We got Ron with us. Ron, how are you, sir?
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Ron.
I just wanted to say I want to thank you for giving my TB12 a little love. Okay. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, I didn't do it for you though.
Well,
you bashed my team enough that I ain't doing anything for you, Ron.
I about cried all night when Cleveland lost that game.
I'm sure you did.
No, but then again, your buddy, I don't know, was it Schrody?
Yep. You hear that, Schrody? People starting to know who you are now. Look at you.
Well, okay, I'm just commenting on him. He said he would pay $500 for a ticket. They're only selling $17,600. You won't even see a ticket close to that price.
Are you calling my friend poor?
No.
Are you saying he can't afford to go? Are you saying that I only hang out with poor people, Ron? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, okay? So, no, I'm just saying that the tickets would be outrageous.
Oh, that's a given. That's a given whenever there's plenty of tickets, when there's thousands and thousands of tickets available. A full stadium's worth of tickets, it's impossible to get a ticket to. But Kevin, what's the biggest game you've been to? Have you been to a finals?
Yeah, I've been to the national championship game, USC in Texas, with Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. I went to that game.
And how far? I mean, those seats are okay. You could see, right? Like you can.
It was great seats. I was in the.
Oh, okay.
I was in.
Okay, I got great seats.
I was in the USC end zone, so I was on the opposite end zone where Vince Young took it in for the score. It was great seats. Well,
great seats.
Okay, let's be perfectly clear. I didn't pay for the tickets. My brother paid for the tickets.
Ron, what about you? What's the biggest game you've been to?
A Monday Night Football game at Raymond James, and I saw the Ravens team played when they had the Goose and Dion and all them guys.
Oh man, that far back, huh? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And, all stop. He ran wild on them. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't been. I don't go to games. I think about it. I haven't been to a big. I guess an NCAA tournament game. That's it. I mean, that's all I've been to. I've never been to a Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals, nothing.
My brother, he's been to when the class run to the finals. He went to at least 2 Cavs finals games every single year when they went on their run. I went to a Pacers playoff game. I went to one of those in Indy. I'm trying to think. I was supposed to go to Game 7 of the World Series when the Cleveland baseball team played the Cubs. My brother was calling me nonstop that morning, like, look, you need to come on up. We win it tonight. And I was like, man, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And thank goodness I didn't go, because I'd have been in tears that night.
Well, like I said, when and I've heard nothing but bad reviews. Anyone that's gone to a Final Four that's not sitting in the lower section, I've never heard anyone say anything good about going to a Final Four. My thing is, I would kill to go to a Final Four for what we talked about earlier, the experience.
Right.
Like the Final Four experience. Like, those games, just what I love, my favorite, like the Super Bowl looks different on TV than all other 17, 21 weeks of the regular season and playoffs looks. And it's played on the same size field as any other week. Like, if you watch any Bucs games this year, watch how different the game is going to look on your TV for the Super Bowl. It's crazy. But to me, the finals looks the same. You could have tons of sellouts in the NBA during the regular season, but there's just something about a sellout finals crowd that just looks and feels different. But the reason that the Final Four always just looks so aesthetically pleasing on TV is because of the fact that you are playing in a football stadium.
Yeah.
You're used to your 19 to 20,000, seat venue, but then, we're talking filling up football stadiums when it comes to the Final Four, and it just looks overwhelmingly massive. I cannot imagine what that would be like to play in front of that type of crowd, Kev, from a basketball standpoint. I'm sorry, like football does that on a week in, week out basis, but it just looks more geographically like pleasing. I can't explain it, but like with basketball, it looks so dang cool. It just looks so dang cool when you watch the Final Four national title game, when you have your little basketball court there surrounded by an entire football stadium's worth of fans. It's almost about a stage. Some of the fans look like they're sitting below the court. That's because they are. It's elevated. All I'm saying is I would kill to go to a Final Four game. Like the atmosphere. We spent a lot of time today talking about the atmosphere at these games and how that's what's missing, and that's what devalues the dollar amount that they ask for. But man, I would kill to go to a Final Four game. Even if I couldn't see, Kev, just the atmosphere alone would be absolutely insane.
I went to the Syracuse Duke game, the first game that they played as rivals in the ACC. I want to say that was in maybe it was like 2014. I was one of 32,000 people in the Carrier Dome that night. The biggest crowd. It was crazy, and where we were like sitting way up, and they were talking about putting the court in the middle because we were going to open it up for more fans. They eventually end up not doing that. But like we were like basically behind the curtain. If we didn't stand up, we wouldn't see any of the game. Like that's how many people were in there.
A WrestleMania I'd love to go to as well.
Brother.
I really would love to go to. And the WrestleManias look different too. Because again, small little ring surrounded by 100,000+ people. It's absolutely. When you watch it, it looks overwhelmingly insane. Like I would kill to go to one of those as well. All right, folks, we'll be back on the other side of the break. 457-9464. Head to wingam.com. Enter the winning word BRIGHT. BRIGHT. One more time. Take the winning word BRIGHT to wingam.com for your shot to win $10,000. It's the 1410 ESPN Radio 10K payday. More of Justin Kinner, Kev Nash next.